Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Barnstormers Baseball 2021, the return. Welcome back from Clipper Magazine Stadium, along with Eric May, Dave Collins with you as the Barnstormers entertain the York Revolution. And what a crazy start to the season for the Lancaster Barnstormers. And somehow, despite having six starting pitchers leave for Major League organizations, the Barnstormers are in first place in the newly formed Northern Division. They're 5-4 at the outset of this season. They've had some crazy long games, including back-to-back 3-hour, 59-minute contests against the York Revolution. The first one, the home opener on Friday night, went south. Barnstormers pitchers walked a franchise record 17 in a 3-hour, 59-minute, 18-2 loss. Then last night, the pitching was better. It was still a high-scoring game, and the Barnstormers beat York in a thriller, scoring 3 runs in the bottom half of the 10th inning to pull it out 11-10 in extra frames. Also 3 hours, 59 minutes. As we look at Ladarius Clark warm up, let's take a look at the York batting order. Darian Sanford, we're used to him leading off and playing center field, just in a Barnstormers uniform. And then you get to the man who's become the face of the York franchise, Melvin Mercedes, in the number 3 spot in the batting order. Atlantic League veteran Wellington Dotel, always a fun player to watch. He is number 6 in the lineup. Rashad Crawford, the left fielder. Crawford with a 2-home run game here last night. He has had a nice series for the York Revolution. This lineup will be facing Tommy Shirley on the mound, and there's the defense behind the big name, Alejandro Deyasa. He joined the Barnstormers yesterday. Deyasa, an 11-year Major League veteran. He's familiar with this league. He was a New Britain B 2 years ago and batted .346 in half a season. He was Ross Peoples' choice in the dispersal draft. Deyasa, finally a Barnstormer. He had hits his first 3 at-bats last night. And you look at Tommy Shirley. We talk about the 6 starting pitchers having gone on to Major League organizations. Tommy Shirley was picked up in a trade. He was supposed to pitch near home in the Pittsburgh area in the Frontier League. Ross Peoples got him back. Tommy Shirley has been a godsend so far. He backed up Jared Lakin when Lakin got hurt, through 3 1/3 shutout innings his first time out, and then the last time out went 5 in a battle with Atlantic League veteran Mitch Atkins. High Point eventually won that game 4-3, but Shirley gave up just 1 run in 5 innings. He's facing Darian Sanford, batting right-handed. Shirley's pitch is hit in the air, right field, and hit pretty well. Look out, this is traveling. Back it goes, and Darian Sanford has his first career home run, and it comes in his return to Clipper Magazine Stadium with the York Revolution. How about that? Holy Tyler Clark, who did the same thing.
You know,
except he did hit one for us, and James Murray called it.
We always wondered what Darian was going to do with his first home run, thinking it would happen in a Barnstormer uniform, not in a York
Blake
uniform.
Galen went back, looked up. He knows he doesn't have much room to retreat, and it was up onto the deck. Darian Sanford gets York off to the 1-0 start. Ground ball on the right side by Edwin Figueroa, handled by Melvin Mercedes. We've got 1 out, and Melky Mesa will step in. You think the Barnstormers have had a crazy life. 3-hour, 59-minute games back-to-back, coming off a 7.5-hour trip home from High Point on Thursday night after that game. York was in Gastonia, played 4 hours and 1 minute on Thursday night, had an 8+ hour ride back, and has played these 2 3-hour, 59-minute games here. Are you surprised guys are first pitch swinging? I'm not. 1 out. And here is Mesa, the designated hitter. And Mesa goes after the first pitch.
And these
swings and
guys
misses.
are really aggressive. 3 pitches, 3 swings on the first pitch.
Shirley, 6'5" left-hander from North Huntington, Pennsylvania. One-time Houston Astros prospect, got to AAA with them. He's bounced around since leaving the Barnstormers. He went to Southern Maryland the second half of the 18 season, pitched in the Can-Am Association with Rockland in 19. 0-2. It's upstairs, wasted to Melky Mesa. Ball 1, 2 strikes. Nelly Rodriguez waits on deck. It's the third straight game that York has hit a home run in the first inning. Rodriguez did so here on Friday night. Last night it was Rashad Crawford, and here it's Darian Sanford and a Mesa. Ball 2 off the inner corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I got to tell you, Dave, it's good to be back.
Isn't it, though?
You know, no cardboard cutouts in the stands, real people yelling, applauding. It's the way baseball's supposed to be.
Shirley skips it up there for ball 3, 3-2. York's offense is high-powered. They lead the league in just about everything, and they have scored 48 runs in their last 3 games. They did get some assistance from the Barnstormers pitching staff on Friday. Last night, though, they had to earn it. 3-2 to Mesa. Shirley to the plate, and that is elevated to center. This should be a little trouble for Deyasa. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, despite the lopsided loss, though, what was the atmosphere like here Friday night?
What I saw a lot when I wrote the game recap, obviously I didn't want to talk that much about the game because there was very little that was pleasant there. But the number of hugs and handshakes you saw around the crowd. People who hadn't seen each other in 90 weeks since the last home game. And that's what will stand out in my mind about Friday night, is just the big family reunion, and that's what it was. Nelly Rodriguez takes a ball. It's 1-0.
You know, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but at the same time, it seems even longer. It's just a bad year and a half.
The last 3 months or so seem to accelerate and go by very quickly. But before that, it was like time was frozen. Last summer, every day was the same. I got up. I sat on my couch for a while. I went for a walk. I did one piece of yard work or housework. Maybe baked a batch of chocolate chip cookies. Did crossword puzzles. Watched videos on YouTube. And rinse and repeat. 7 days a week.
So every day was Groundhog Day.
It was. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nelly Rodriguez. Shirley delivers, and wow. Ball 2.
Of course, home plate umpire Nicholas Mull's listening to what he hears in his earpiece, but boy, that pitch looked good.
One run home, 2 outs, nobody on board for the York Revolution. That is swung on and missed. So it took Shirley 1 pitch extra to record his first strikeout of the day. Darian Sanford with his first career home run. And York has taken a 1-0 lead. Now we take a look at the Barnstormers batting order, which, no, that's, hold on. Yeah. We have a gaffe on that one. We'll get to it. We're facing 6'9" right-hander Austin Steinfort. And when we talk about having difficulty throwing strikes, Steinfort in his first outing walked 8 against the High Point Rockers, and he did that in just 2 innings. But we've seen Steinfort otherwise, and he hasn't had necessarily that kind of control issue. We've had a lot of high-scoring games early in this season, and just some crazy occurrences. The other night in High Point, we had a 430-foot single.
Wow.
As on a ball that cleared the fences in left center field. Second base was missed. Now, I had thought all along, and the way the ruling went down, I thought it was the hitter that missed second base. And now I'm told by our club that it was actually the lead runner that missed second base.
Oh.
And it created havoc. But anyway, a 430-foot single. I think if they realized that it was the lead runner that missed second, I think he's out, but the batter still gets a home run. I'm not sure how that works, but right now, well, you got a 430-foot single.
You got to dig deep into the rule books for that one.
It has been a crazy year. The Barnstormers at times have had Melvin Mercedes batting cleanup, a guy with 7 career home runs, including one this year. Meanwhile, leading off for the Barnstormers is the center fielder Alejandro Deyasa. Most known for his time with the White Sox, but he did spend some time with the Orioles and other clubs, most recently in the major leagues with the Washington Nationals in 2017. 3 for 5 here last night. And Steinfort, no sign of control issues here. He delivers a strike. It is 0-1. Mercedes and Galen will follow. The Barnstormers are loaded from the left side of the plate as per the norm.
Yeah, and he wasted no time in making his impact with those 3 base hits in his first 3 at-bats.
37 years of age. Was in the major leagues from 07. He debuted with the Marlins to 17. Line drive and a base hit to center field. The guy is a hit machine. He batted .346 in 69 games for New Britain with 25 doubles 2 years ago. And if you think, well, it was the Atlantic League and he's a major league veteran, yada, yada. He went to AAA Rochester from there and batted .352.
Yeah, guy can flat out hit.
Leadoff man is on for the Barnstormers. Last night he stole second. Melvin Mercedes will stand in. He's been the biggest story for the Barnstormers so far this year. He's had 5 multiple hit games already. He's batting .441. And it's tempting to just go off of his double M in issues and call him the Mighty Mite, because that's what he's been. Standing just 5 feet 6 inches tall. He's quite a player. He is the everyday second baseman on this team, but you can put him anywhere on the field. Nothing in 1 to him from Steinfort, who has shown no indications of control issues. That's the first time he's missed. And a Mercedes, it's 1-1. Blake Galen waits on deck.
When you got to think, too, with no baseball last year, what did these guys do in the last summer to try and stay in shape, try and stay in these game time conditions? You have to think the offense is going to be a little bit better than the pitching at this point to start the season.
Deyasa takes off. The 1-1 is met and fouled back. And Deyasa is forced to return. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Steinfort from Holland, Michigan, 6'9", 250 pounds. Well, in a lot of markets, they had these makeshift local quasi-professional leagues. They had one down in Sugarland at Constellation Field, the Constellation Energy League. Jared Lakin played in that. Kelly Dugan was there for a while. The American Association put together a 60-game schedule for half of its ball clubs. The Mercedes 1-2. Big breaking ball misses. 3 of the Can-Am League teams, Rockland, New Jersey, and Sussex, each hosted 2 teams, and they played an abbreviated schedule. It was called the All-American Baseball Challenge. We have a couple of guys who played in that. Lob toss to first. Deyasa back in.
I'm guessing it was in front of very limited, if any, fans, though.
A lot of places were limited to 250 or 500. Somerset had 2 teams. The Lexington Legends got started in independent baseball by doing that. They played Florence in a series. Lined, and that's into center field. Mercedes just keeps right on rolling. He has been on base all 10 Barnstormers games so far this year. First and second with nobody out. And here is Blake Galen. Galen has been steady, but we haven't seen the usual power show out of Blake. We're still waiting on home run number 100 as you get another look at the clean base hit to center by Melvin Mercedes. Galen's stuck at 99 career Barnstormers home runs. .281 with 8 runs batted in. He's taken advantage of some opportunities and been productive, but he has only 1 double to show for it. First and second, nobody out. Galen takes a strike at the knees.
Maybe he was just waiting for a TV game, so we have it on replay. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, this guy is just too good of a hitter.
He takes strike 2. It's amazing. Steinfort walked 8 guys against High Point, and he's missed with 1 or 2 pitches so far today. Go figure. Galen bats 0-2, trailing in the count. And the pitch to Blake is hit in the air right field pretty short. Dotel will come on to make the catch, and nobody can advance. Galen gets underneath. We've seen a lot of that from him. Now here is Ladarius Clark, who has been the ball club's top power hitter. He belted 2 last night and has 4 home runs for the season. And I thought last night that he would at least be tied for the league home run lead. Nobody else had more than 3. Now Ruby Silva is off to an incredible start. He's a veteran Atlantic leaguer. He's bounced around. York's had him. Southern Maryland's had him. He has been unbelievable for the newly minted West Virginia Power and living up to the team name. He's hit 5 to Clark, inside and low. Hill gets enough of it.
So Clark's home runs so far have left field or been all over?
All to right, from right around to center. He's perfectly built for this ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 home runs to right center and center on the road. Steinfort is away for ball 2. First baseman Kelly Dugan waits on deck. Clark has that combination of power and speed. The issue with him has been contact over the past. We haven't seen that much of a problem this year. He's hitting .320 with 4 homers, 9 runs batted in. The 2-0.
Whoa.
Swing and a miss, and he's Zawadski's.
And he.
The
Now,
bat
hold on.
broke in his hand.
Yes.
That's even more than a Zawadski.
I mean, that wasn't even a foul ball. That
I don't think
snapped.
so.
Sure to check out the craft beer deck at the end of the first base concourse for a selection of.
All right, Bo Jackson, top that one.
Check out this season's
Jeez.
I cannot believe I just saw that happen. I thought just instinctively it had to be the entire bat. Let's take another look at that. Complete swing and a miss, and the bat just sheared off in his hands.
He didn't make contact.
Clark looking down, rather puzzled at the course of events here. I don't think I've ever seen it. We'll chalk up another one on the list of 2021 Atlantic League Bizarro World.
Wow.
Bat snaps off in hands in the middle of a swing.
I hope that's a long list because already it sounds like you've accumulated.
It's getting there, trust me.
My goodness.
Runners lead from first and second. Clark gets a ball, and that leaks through the catcher Hill. Runners move up a base. We'll get a ruling on the play. And I'm not sure how Bill Hoffman's going to score that one. Wild pitcher pass ball, so we'll go to the online box score and get that determination.
So no more hand signals to the other side of the press box.
We have this technology thing going on.
Wow.
Clark bats 3-1, trying to pick up at least 1, if not 2. Steinfort ready to go. And it's a swing and a miss by Ladarius. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I would think pass ball.
That would be my inclination. It goes down as a wild pitch. We're both wrong.
Swing and a miss.
Hopefully Kitty Carlisle bailed us out. 3-2, and Clark drives another one to right center. Way back it goes, and the walls will not contain it. That man is built for this ballpark, and the Barnstormers lead 3-1. His third homer in that direction in less than 24 hours.
Wow, that was just a great piece of hitting. Just waited on it, and you could see the power that he has going to the opposite field from center over to right. And that ball just kept going.
Kelly Dugan stepping in after the 3-run jack by Ladarius Clark. Fouled back by Kelly, it's 0-1. Clark, one of the stories of this year. He was a guy Ross wanted to see what he could do. He knew the tools were there. He did not have great numbers in the Texas Rangers organization where he got the Double-A. You can see the athleticism in Ladarius Clark. He goes by the nickname Red. You saw the red hair. It's naturally reddish hair. And now Dugan gives one a ride. Way back, this one goes. No play for Darian. And it's back-to-back home runs for the Barnstormers here in the first inning at a 4-1 lead. Dugan's first.
Well, that one, Steinfort left too much over the plate, and Dugan made him pay. Oh, wow.
I talked about how Kelly Dugan is Casey Hobson's alter ego, and there is a lengthy connection there because they were traded for each other prior to last season. Now there's a drive off the bat of Blake Aleman. Will that stay fair? It is a fair ball, and it's 3 in a row.
Wow. I thought fireworks were Saturday nights, not Sunday afternoon. All right.
Clark,
You're
Dugan,
gonna have to dig into the record books. When was the last time the Barnstormers had 3 consecutive home runs?
It's happened. Give me a moment. I do have it.
Wow. Well, and they kind of take the same approach as what, you know, the Revs did in that first inning, going after that first pitch. And, well, Aleman just teed off on that one. I think that went as high as it did far.
On to the outside corner to Anthony Peroni, who was last night's hero with the game-winning hit. It did go down as a hit. Darian Sanford staggering as he approached the ball on the right side hole. Peroni with a swing and a foul at the plate. I can assure you that at no time have the Barnstormers hit 4 home runs in succession. They have gotten 3 in a row before. This is a very lengthy file that I do have, so bear with me.
Well, we don't need it right now. We can look at it between innings.
Into the dirt, and that bounces away from Hill. Ball 1, 2 strikes. All right, I shot past it now. Consecutive home runs. Here we go. I think there's more than one set, but we'll see. I know it has happened. Ball 2 missing. Maybe I'll get there by the end of this half inning. Here we are. 2015 was the last time it happened. September 8th at Southern Maryland. Peroni drives it but foul, and that had the distance too. But look out for this game because we've already seen 4 jump out to right field. The conditions are perfect for the ball traveling, and we've already seen 41 runs prior to today in this series, and it is just primed for offense. It was Lance Zawadski, Brian Cavazos Galvez, and Luke Hughes at Southern Maryland. Not a home game. Ball 2, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And these were not wind-aided home runs either, because there is not much air blowing this afternoon. These balls had just been crushed in the first inning.
It also happened in 2011. That was here against the Road Warriors. Ball 4 is up to Peroni, and that'll bring on John DeZamba. It was Fernando Seganol, Aaron Herr, and Kevin Howard that hit them in succession on the 10th of June. That had to be just before Howard left. What a tremendous start he got off to in 11, and he's now on the coaching staff of the New York Mets at the major league level. He is the assistant hitting coach.
Oh, yes.
The next Barnstormer with the Mets.
He's got his work cut out for him because.
Yeah. Well, at least DeGrom's getting some wins pitching the dirt.
Yeah, thankfully.
Peroni up the second on the wild pitch, and now they've got a play on him at third. Tried to get a little too much done there, and he makes the final out of the inning at third base. One of those. Well, I take that back. It's just the second out of the inning. So let's take another look. That got away. Hill chasing it down. Peroni sees him taking a little more time than normal, and he got sort of baited into an out at third base. So it was a wild pitch, and then 2-5 on the out. Here is Deyasa. And he hits a busted bat liner in the center and picks up yet another base hit, the Barnstormers' 6th of the inning.
Oh, what a great start.
I'm waiting for John Deyasa to win a ball game, walk off in a game.
Yeah.
Because you know what we have there, right? Deyasa apocalypse.
Well, you have these all queued up.
I've had a year and a half. Nothing is worse than giving me a year and a half. Mark Mason is paying a mound visit. He, like Ross Peoples, serving as both manager and pitching coach now. Mace has not cut his hair since the start of the pandemic.
I kind of got that assumption.
He is an interesting sort, but you want to talk to a guy with a wealth of baseball knowledge. Former college coach, got involved in first the Frontier League, and then Andy Etchebarren brought him in as his pitching coach when Andy was skippering York, and then Mason was right there to take over. He had been managing the Washington Wild Things prior to joining the Revs, and he is now the winningest manager in the history of the York Revolution. They've only had 3, Chris Hoyles, Andy Etchebarren, and Mark Mason, and he's had a lot of success there. Now here is Devon Torrance. He's the DH today, so as long as Tommy Shirley stays in, Devon Torrance stays in. There's always the option to move him to a defensive position.
Okay, so that's one of the new rules here. So if this is the case and say Shirley gets lifted in the 6th inning, they don't bat anybody in the designated hitter spot.
The pitcher spot becomes active. Torrance can move to a defensive position, and somebody else can be pulled. You can have the double switch depending on how the lineup is set at that particular point in time. It's made my scorecards look a little bit crazy in these high-scoring games early in the year.
I can imagine.
Devon wraps it just foul outside third. Clearly foul low, and it's 2-1. Deyasa, the runner at first base. The Barnstormers caused themselves a run by Peroni trying to go to third. Caused themselves a run, cost themselves an out. And I think you're going to want every run you can get on the scoreboard today, just by the way these balls are jumping.
And the fact that you do your score sheet in pen yet.
2-1, fouled off. Torrance is still looking for his first hit at home. He went berserk in North Carolina. He was 8 for 14 down there, including a pair of 3-hit games when he started. The former college football player at Ohio State.
The Ohio State University. Upstairs, ball 3. Dezaba's on the move, and he's going to get in there because of an errant throw. It appeared that Hill had time. Now Deyasa has a stolen base. Ross Peoples loves to run with his ball clubs. He's got power, he's got speed. That was really a very nice play by the shortstop Figuera. He almost got a tag on. Yeah, it didn't appear that Tyler Hill really had a good grasp on the ball.
3-2 pitch. Torrance cuts and he misses. That will end the inning, but the Barnstormers have a productive one with 5 runs on 6 hits with no errors, and they leave 1. End of an inning at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Lancaster with a 5-1 lead.
Well, this is game one of a summer of baseball here on Blue Ridge 11. Second game of the telecast season will be coming up on Tuesday when the Gastonia Honey Hunters come to town. All right, so what's a honey hunter?
It is actually a badger, but it is the regional colloquialism, I guess you would call it, for a badger is a honey hunter. But there's also a double entendre there because the first freed slave in that area was named Hunter, and they wanted to honor him as well. So there is a double entendre. That is a really neat franchise down there. There was something really heartwarming about it. One is Tommy Shirley delivers a strike to Carlos Franco. It is the only minor league baseball team, and really, I guess, the only baseball team overall that has an African American as the principal owner. And a guy by the name of Brandon Bellamy, he's a real estate developer from Maryland, who the Atlantic League contacted him when they were looking at going into Gastonia. Gastonia wanted to build a new ballpark. They had the idea, and Brandon fell in love with the community down there. And the ballpark is part of a major overall urban renovation project in Gastonia. Brandon Bellamy's the wheel guy for it, and he has tremendous visions for that community. And he's not really a baseball guy necessarily, but he is a visionary. And
that's all it takes.
Yeah, he's a fascinating man. I had the chance to talk to him on our webcast last weekend when we were down there. And he's great. He's great for the Atlantic League. He's great for baseball. It is 3-1 to Franco. And a strike to the inside corner from the left-hander Tommy Shirley.
And we were talking before we came on the air that, you know, the Atlantic League isn't done. There's plans to add on some more teams in the future.
Two teams in the works for 2022 and two more for 2023 if all goes well. One of those teams we're fairly certain, and there's strike three to the inside corner. Franco was preparing to head to first. Second strikeout for Shirley. It is pretty much out in public that one of the teams coming in next year is Staten Island. That's just about a done deal. It appears that we're going to pick up another market that has been in the affiliated minor leagues, but there's going to be some more shuffling going on of those franchises after this year. And we're going to pick up Lexington and Charleston, another team that is a longtime minor league affiliated club. Ground ball to third. Dotel retired by John DeZamba. He's making his first start defensively. And with two outs, here is Rashad Crawford. Crawford trying to keep up with Ladarius Clark in this series. They both had 3 hits, 4 runs scored, 3 runs batted in, and a couple of homers last night. Clark has already thrown down the gauntlet with a 3-run home run this afternoon. Crawford can't match that, but at least you'll want to keep up with the home run count. First pitch from Shirley misses.
Well, you know, and just to continue on as far as the talk of expansion, too, I think that's tremendous because I think a lot of people were concerned what's going to happen to the Atlantic League after no baseball last year.
There was a lot of concern. Fly ball, dead center. Watch how far this one goes. Not as far as he wanted it. Deyasa settles back for the catch. Shirley retires the side in order in the top of the second inning. We're done with 1.5, and it's 5-1. There you see Old Glory, and it's great to see that flying over the ballpark again. So many ways in which 2020 and into 2021 were painful, and a lot of it was the division in this country, maybe some of it rightly so, some of it a little wake-up call, and I think some of it may have been a little bit needless as well, but I think everybody's starting to come together again. As things reopen, we can bond around sports. I think so much of it was everybody had so much time in their hands.
Yeah.
Last year that things were. I'm not going to say there were some really bad things that happened, but add that to the fuel of the fire of people sitting around and just being agitated, feeling caged and boxed in, and it was just a powder keg, and it blew. Here is Alejandro Deyasa, now 4 for 6 as a Barnstormer. Breaking ball from Steinfort, clips the inside corner. 0-1. Lancaster with 6 hits, 5 runs in that opening inning. And they hit some blasts. Deyasa gets another off-speed breaking ball. He decides to go for this one and just pops it up to shallow center. And it's dropped by Dundon. Well, that's an E4. I'll put that one in the book. Last night, the ball hit by Peroni out to Sanford. I wasn't so sure. When I saw it on the replay, I was more inclined to think of that as a base hit. And that was the call that was made. This is simply an error.
Well, in the first inning, there was no breeze. And then you saw, as we came back to action, the breeze has started to pick up. Now, whether he lost it in the sun or the breeze caught it, or a combination of both, but a play that Dundon knows he should have made.
Upstairs to Mercedes. 16 for 35 now for Melvin. Batting .457. Jumps back out of the way, and it's ball 2. Blake Galen in the on-deck circle.
Well, you like to see this at the top of the order, and you mentioned that Galen really hasn't gotten into stride yet. And once he gets going, and you get Gindel back, you guys that can flat out hit the ball.
You've got Robinson. This outfield is loaded. It's absolutely loaded. You've got Clark, you've got Deyasa, you've got Gindel, you've got Galen, you've got Robinson, and Devon Torrance is really a good guy to have play a role. There's ball 4. And the Barnstormers haven't had to really swing the bats this half inning, and again they've got men at first and second for Galen.
But as we have seen in years past, and already what's happened this season, is that revolving door in the locker room with players coming and going, especially with the pitchers so far.
The pitching situation has been bizarre. The one thing in the Atlantic League you can't afford, players are going to get picked up by major league organizations. It's what this league is here to do on the baseball side. But to lose everybody in one group at one time or in a short period of time really kind of puts a strap on you. In 11, Butch Hobson had to deal with it with outfielders.
Yeah, what season was it? There was 18 signings or something like that?
That was a little bit more. That might have been 17.
Okay.
This year it's 7, but 6 of them starting pitchers. B.J. Boyd his contract was purchased by the Minnesota Twins, but that was something the Barnstormers could afford because look at all the other outfielders.
Yeah.
Boyd gets replaced by Deyasa. Boyd, I'll tell you, B.J. Boyd was going to be a really good player here. I saw that, but we just have Alejandro Deyasa, 11-year Major League veteran, who's kept himself in phenomenal shape. We've already seen what he can do. The outfield, not an issue. 3 balls and nothing to Blake Galen. He gets the walk, and they're loaded for, oh boy, It's Ladarius.
Well, and now you're starting to see Steinfort and what happened to him his first outing. Now 2 consecutive walks, 3rd issued in the ball game.
Ladarius Clark could give the Barnstormers a lot of daylight here in the 2nd inning. He doesn't even need another home run, but if he can get on base 2, and then you've got Dugan and Aleman, Steinfort's in a mess, and there's already action in the York bullpen. The Ladarius Clark home run in the 1st inning, a 3-run shot. First 3-run homer by a Barnstormer this year. And for the moment, Clark ties Ruby Silva for the league lead at 5. High and inside, it's ball 1.
You know, and you saw in the highlight, too, he doesn't have that big home run swing. It was compact, but boy, the ball just exploded off his bat.
He hails from Meridian, Mississippi. Ladarius Clark. Ball 1-0. Tried to drive that. Now is even at 1-1.
Yeah, that was a home run swing.
As long as he doesn't overdo and just stays within himself and lets his natural talent come through, he could have a big year. The Barnstormers have needed him. I said this right at the beginning. He is the right-handed counterbalance in this lineup. He went chasing, and it's 1-2. He is, we'll say, a Sean Halton this year. Totally different type of player, totally different body type. Right. Halton was basically a mountain man. But the right-handed balance to the rest of this largely lefty lineup.
That's a perfect analogy.
1-2 inside. Well, the Barnstormers have Steinfort and the Revs on the ropes. And again, as Steinfort is lifted by Mark Mason, they lose Melky Mesa or somebody else in the lineup if Mesa takes a defensive spot. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball, and that hit the knob of the... No, it didn't. It hit him. Clark hit by a pitch, his 4th RBI of the day, and it's 6-1. And Steinfort is going to get another visit from Mark Mason, and this time Mason acts as the Grim Reaper. He's already pointed down to the bullpen. 6-1 Barnstormers. Steinfort running into control issues here in the 2nd inning after getting lit up for home runs in the 1st.
Fancy Heritage Hotel Lancaster is the Lancaster Barnstormers official visiting hotel.
Get a look at the York dugout, which is not necessarily a happy area to be right now. The Barnstormers with 6 runs on the board and still batting with nobody out here in the second. They scored 5 in the first. They've added 1 here and have the bases loaded. Isaac Sanchez is taken over on the mound. It's the 3rd time in the last 5 days the Barnstormers have faced Sanchez. He was with High Point when Lancaster was there and got traded to York. Smashed foul. Kelly Dugan, who really hadn't done a tremendous amount until last night. He had a 2-run double in the middle of the game last night as the Barnstormers rallied from a 6-2 deficit. And he's hit his first home run of the season here today. Others will follow. You know, I've talked about Kelly being Casey Hobson's alter ego, but they don't have the same swing. Left-handed batting first baseman. They were traded for each other. When Casey left the Chicago Dogs last year to get married, Kelly stepped in that slot for him. But their swings are different. Kelly is far more likely to hit the ball to the left side than Casey was. Casey pretty much a dead pull hitter. The 0-1 spins inside. A ball and a strike. Alemond is on deck, and then Peroni. Lancaster with 6 runs on the scoreboard, but hunting for more. That last run against Steinfort unearned because of the dropped pop-up that started this inning and set a really bad tone for York. The Barnstormers are a tired group, but York maybe even more so. The last few days have absolutely been a grind for both ball clubs. Dugan stays away from it. And that stayed in check, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
Both will enjoy a much-needed day off tomorrow.
Mondays, except for the Monday holidays, are off all year. They can use them for makeup games if need be. Sanchez ready to go with the 2-1, and Dugan fouls it to the left.
And they've done this all so far in this inning without a hit.
Lancaster has had some problems with Sanchez. 2 2/3 innings, just 1 hit. He's walked 2 and struck out 4. To Dugan, here's the 2-2. Gets a piece. If you're the Barnstormers, what you want out of this is another run or 2. You don't have to score everybody out there, but you want to sustain the momentum. You don't want to allow Sanchez to come in and shut the door on you here and keep his ball club in the game. You want to just be able to jump on this and really open up a good-sized lead. You don't want to allow the Revs to get out of a bases-loaded, nobody-out jam. The 2-2 on Dugan, beaten foul.
Ouch.
And even on a 90-degree afternoon, Kelly felt that one.
I think it went off the top of the foot.
The swing and the foot as well, and Anya Holmberg is going to have to come out to tend to him.
Lancaster Barnstormers are presently hiring seasonal and party positions.
Oh, he's pointing to his knee.
Might have come off of there. It can. Take another look at it. Yeah, it got him in the front knee.
Seasonal and party positions available at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Check out Fan Services to learn more.
Well, you know, you mentioned about getting a couple of runs. Sometimes what can be even more demoralizing is if Lancaster would string together like 3 consecutive singles.
Yes.
You know, everybody loves the big blast, but sometimes you just wrap out a couple singles in a row. That could wear on a pitcher.
Mercedes, Galen, and Clark occupy the bases. Sanchez works to Dugan 2-2. Kelly stays with another one. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat coming up.
Yeah, he's hurting.
The Barnstormers already have Gindel and Robinson on the shelf. They can play, but not in the field, and they really can't run the bases. They both have minor leg problems. They both pinch hit over the last couple of days. Both expected to be back shortly. To Dugan, 2-2, line toward right center field and down for a base hit. This will score Mercedes. Galen on his heels, headed toward the plate. He will score. To third is Clark, and the Barnstormers lead 8-1, having a field day on this Sunday afternoon.
That's 3 RBIs now for Dugan on the afternoon. And, you know, I was watching him. Even if he hits the gap and that goes to the wall, I don't think he would have tried for second. I mean, he really is hurting.
And now he's running it out down there. What you want to have with Dugan is have him stay in the game until Shirley has to be lifted. And then you could put Torrance in the outfield, put Galen at first base, and you don't lose another player. So if he can stay in that long, the Barnstormers will have the move to make. Blake Aleman stands in. He homered his first time up. Right now, I think where Dugan is with the pain in the knee, he is gimping. He'll wave a white towel on a ground ball to a middle infielder. 1-0. Aleman lifts this out the left field. Clark is back to tag. Making the catches, Crawford. Here comes Ladarius. Here comes the throw. It is offline. Give Aleman a sacrifice fly, and the Barnstormers have another run on the board. 4 across in this inning, and now a 9-1 game. Crawford did everything he could do, but Ladarius Clark runs pretty well.
And all of these runs are going to go on the record of Austin Steinfort as well.
And the last 3 are earned runs. That's sac fly for Aleman, just the first out of the inning. And we are going to have a pinch runner. Dugan just can't go. You were hoping he could last until Tommy Shirley came out of the game, and then you would have a natural move to make. The Barnstormers will have to switch around defensively when we get to the top of the 3rd inning. Trying to figure out who that pinch runner is. It may be Rendon. Into the dirt, and 1-0 on Peroni. These numbers on these kid-designed Sunday jerseys are a little tough to read.
Yeah.
It is Cleo Luis Rendon running at first base. He'll take a defensive position. He may go to short. This is my guess, and I'm just guessing. Upstairs, and an edge to Peroni in the count. He may go to short, Aleman to third, and DeZamba across to first. Or Aleman go to first. Or Aleman go to the outfield and Galen come in to play first, or something. There are options here.
It's like the ball under the helmet. Just keep moving it around and see if you can guess which one is right.
Or Aleman to second, Mercedes to the outfield, and Galen to first. There are many options for Ross Peoples right now, and we'll see which one he takes. 2-1 pitch from Sanchez, and that is low. Lancaster already 9 runs on the board this afternoon. 4 runs on a hit this inning, 7 hits total. Get another look at Isaac Sanchez, who hails from the Bronx. Ball 4. 3rd walk of the inning to go along with a hit batsman. And now a couple of runners on for DeZamba, who had a base hit his first time up. John DeZamba is a guy who simply loves baseball, loves the atmosphere, but he also loves his wife and his kids. He took 3 years off from playing professional baseball, and then last year, of course, with the pandemic, he has not played in any substantial league since 2016. He stayed near the Buffalo area and played up in Ontario, about a 24-game schedule in what they call the Inter-County League, while his kids were being born. And now he's back in the Atlantic League. He had been with Southern Maryland and New Britain several years ago. Utility player. Does a lot of things. One out, runner at first and second, and he smokes it into right field. Another base hit. Charging it is Dotel, and wisely, Ross Peoples holds Rendon at third base. Don't challenge Dotel. Whatever you do. He's got one of the best arms in the history of this league. And it brings on Devon Torrance with the bases loaded and still just the one out in this inning.
Well, that ball was, as you said, I mean, it was just smoked into right field. And if it would have been a slow roller in the hole that got into right field, maybe it's a different story. But because it was hit so hard, Rendon really had no shot at trying to score.
Devon Torrance struck out his first time up. The Barnstormers have batted around each of the first 2 innings. And they could do a lot more here. Torrance would be tough to double up. Sanchez's pitch bounces up there, and nice stop made by Tyler Hill.
Real nice
Maybe
block.
A fortuitous one, but he did what he needed to do. I didn't ask Anderson De La Rosa. I really haven't had the chance to ask him about what it was like to be behind the plate Friday night for 250 pitches, 129 balls from the Barnstormers staff. That was a rough one to endure in the broadcast booth. I can't imagine what it was like behind the plate. Ball 1-0. Torrance with a swing and a miss. York has had the better of him this weekend. Still looking for his first hit of the series. Alejandro Deyasa waits on deck. One out, and the bases are again reloaded. Ball 2 is up. 2 balls and 1 strike. All the runners now belong to Sanchez. Steinfort gave up 6 hits, the 9 runs, 8 earned. He walked 3 and hit a batter and struck out 1. Outside, and Torrance is in the driver's seat. 3 balls and a strike. York has not been immune to losing pitchers either. They had their opening day starter signed a day or 2 before the season began. It's hit everybody in this league, but I think it's hit Lancaster, High Point, and York the hardest. And you can see it with the thinned out pitching staffs. Here's the 3-1. Torrance swings, and he hits a drive out toward right center field. Way back this one goes, and it will be taken by Darian Sanford. Tagging off third is Dugan. He'll come across. Torrance has a sac fly, and the Barnstormers have back-to-back 5-run innings. Not Dugan scoring, rather Rendon, of course. He was the pinch runner. Peroni on to third. DeZamba stayed at first. And here is Alejandro Deyasa. Oh, this scorecard's going to be fun to unravel. That aforementioned couch I sat on all last summer,
Yeah.
it's waiting for me. I'll be going home after the game tonight for the first time in better than 3 weeks. But I'll be on there trying to sort this game out. Way upstairs, speared by Hill, and ball 1.
Yeah, so everybody in the lineup this afternoon has been on base.
Now, Torrance, not officially.
Oh, yes,
but
I'm sorry.
Everybody's productive in some way, shape, or form.
That's it. That's it.
Peroni's at third, DeZamba at first, and Deyasa batting 1-0 with Mercedes on deck. Well, you know, Alejandro's pretty well protected. Again, I won't say Mercedes is the hottest hitter in the league because of what Ruby Silva has done with West Virginia, but he's pretty doggone close. 2-0 on Deyasa, who is 1 for 2. He scored twice. He reached on an error to ignite this inning.
Yeah, that kind of just set the stage.
3-0. Tommy Shirley needs to just throw strikes for the Barnstormers. They can afford to give up a few runs. Shirley's likely to be out there until his arm falls off. It's the plight the Barnstormers are in. They do get a pitcher in tomorrow in Gabriel Moya. 3-0. Deyasa takes a strike. It is now 3-1. 2 outs in the inning have both scored runs.
Yeah, and the good thing for Shirley, these have been long innings on a hot afternoon. He's had plenty of chance to stay cool and hydrated.
3-1. Deyasa gets underneath, lofts this to right center. It'll be Dotel angling over to make the catch, and Sanchez finally gets his team through the second inning, but the Barnstormers pick up 5 runs in the inning. They do it with just 2 hits. There was 1 error. Lancaster strands a pair, and at the end of 2, the Barnstormers winning big. It's 10-1. We go into the 3rd inning, and the Barnstormers have made some substantial defensive changes. We know the answer to the question that was really multiple choice, and the only right answer was the one in the head of Ross Peoples and what he was going to do. We were left guessing here with the defensive changes for the Barnstormers on this brilliant and warm Sunday afternoon, the first matinee game at Clipper Magazine Stadium on the 2021 slate. This is actually the first real daytime game the Barnstormers have played. Our Sunday start at Gastonia last weekend was at 4:50.
Well, if they hit the ball like this, they're going to want to play at 1 o'clock a lot more often.
Lancaster has made defensive changes. Rendon will stay in to play shortstop. John DeZamba has not moved from third base. Blake Galen will play first base. Blake Alamond has gone out to right field. And Tommy Shirley has retired 6 in a row. He now operates with a 9-run lead, which ties the biggest lead the Barnstormers have had this year. They led 10-1 in the first game at Gastonia. First pitch strike. It is 0-1 on Tyler Hill. Remember, Mesa's out of the lineup. That is a big loss for York. The 0-1, foul ball back. It is 0-2.
So what was the reasoning behind this rule change? Did they specify?
The opener. Major League Baseball knows that the fans do not like the idea of the opener. And they're trying to find a way to dissuade clubs from going that route. Knocked into right field. Hill is on to start off the top of the 3rd. That was the idea. Fans want to go see Clayton Kershaw. They want to go see Jake DeGrom. And they want to see those guys stay as long in the game as they can.
Right.
And the idea is to encourage that. And the double hook rule, to me, not a bad idea. It's a compromise between American League Baseball and National League Baseball, I suppose. You could look at it that way. But you need to have full rosters for it to work. You've got to have 5 solid starters and not be in the positions that these two clubs find themselves in with guys who are playing at a much we'll say much lower level than this, coming in and being thrown to the Wolves, and then they get knocked out in the second inning, and you really have some issues. Shirley is high to Dundon, and it's 2-0. Maybe the layoff was a little too long for Tommy. A rough beginning to the top of the third inning. Dundon has only 2 hits on the year. He's driven in 8 runs, and he doesn't have a homer. He has 1 double. I'm trying to figure this out. Talk about productive outs. Cleo Luis Rendon has been very similar for Lancaster. Far more RBIs than hits. That can't hold up for too long. 3-0, and that is ball 4. Dundon is on, and there's trouble in the top of the third.
Well, you're right. Maybe the layoff between innings was a little bit too long for Tommy Shirley.
Darian Sanford, the slugger, steps in. He really is a rat. I'm going to be on him. I waited 3 years for him to hit a home run, and he does it for York coming back here. Come on, Darian. Ball 1 from Shirley.
So beeline to the Revs locker room after the game and catch up with them?
Darian's great. We had a lot of fun his 3 years in Lancaster. Ground ball toward the middle. Getting there is Rendon. He will shovel to Martinez, back to first, not in time. Anybody else is probably doubled up. Sanford beats it across. The out on Dundon is 6-4.
And really, that's the best scenario you could have hoped for, because if it's hit any harder, it gets through for a base hit.
Yeah.
You know, it was slow enough that at least got the force out at second, get that first out. Now you still set up for a potential double play.
Darian Sanford is still probably the fastest player in this league, and he's 34. The fact that time hasn't slowed him down at all is remarkable.
Yeah, he was fun to watch when he got on the bases, and even really in the outfield too. When he gets a good jump on a ball, he can cut off a gap.
He made some spectacular plays here. He learned. He learned on the fly here. Got a lot of coaching from Lastings Millage back in 17. Trayvon Robinson maybe added to that a bit, but I think it was primarily Lastings. And Sanford just became a very good outfielder. He doesn't have a strong arm, but boy, he could go get him gap to gap. 0-2. And the pitch hit on the ground, back to Shirley.
Oh.
He throws low to second base, and they were able to get the force. Shirley lost a chance for a double play there. Figueroa safe on the fielder's choice. He'll get an RBI. That throw was saved at second base. Shirley babied that throw, and he bounced it. Double play in the making.
Yeah, he double clutched it. I don't know if he was waiting for Rendon. It just, the timing was off. Well, that's just what you want.
And this is the pitcher, Isaac Sanchez, I do believe.
Yes,
unless
it
I
is.
lost track of something. Looks like Isaac Sanchez. Swings like a pitcher. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding, Isaac. It's 1-1. Yoel Espinal hit a ringing base hit here the other night. Shirley is upstairs with his fastball 2-1. Nelly Rodriguez waits on deck. It's now 10-2 here in the third inning. Shirley finds the range there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The good news, Tommy threw only 22 pitches the first 2 innings. A bit more, however, here in the third. You know you're not going to turn a double play easily on Darian Sanford, but that last one was there. And Shirley just made a low throw. Unfortunately, Rendon able to get a force play. Payoff pitch is due. The runner takes off, and it's grounded on the right side. Diving try, Galen Mercedes gets there, finds Shirley, but not in time.
Wow, pitchers can hit.
An infield base hit for Sanchez as he gets his revenge on me.
And he was quite emphatic about making that base hit.
What a play by Mercedes just to get there, and Shirley covered the bag like he had to do. But Sanchez hustling down the line. Now it's 1st and 2nd for Nelly Rodriguez, and York has a chance to chomp into the Barnstormers' lead. Look at that, Sandy De Leon congratulating Isaac Sanchez. Pitchers are hitting, and it's not the starters, it's the relievers who have to hit. Inside to Rodriguez for a ball, 1-0. Tyler Hill, the only ball to the outfield in this half inning. But a run is home. Runners are at 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. Rodriguez stands in, and Shirley lights up the inside corner. It is 1-1.
I heard an interesting stat last night watching the Mets-Padres game that Jacob deGrom has more hits as a pitcher than earned runs he has given up this year.
That is amazing. 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2, which is also probably true for Shohei Ohtani.
Well,
He has more runs batted in than earned runs he's allowed.
But I think he's had a few more plate
I think
appearances.
he's had some more plate appearances.
Now, do you keep him going back and forth between pitching and playing the field, or do you think
there are so many things you could do with the two-way players? We've done it with Galen and Gindel this year with this shortage of pitching. 1-2, and Rodriguez fouls it in our neighborhood. That was the 2nd career plate appearance for Isaac Sanchez. He had an at-bat while he was at High Point, and he struck out. Gets the infield single here. Mercedes can go an amazingly long way to his left. And he cheats to his right because he covers so much ground to his glove side. 1-2, and that is slammed out to right field. Aleman giving chase, won't get to it. It's out to the wall. In to score on the play is Figuera, and on to third goes Sanchez, an RBI base hit for Rodriguez. York not exactly throwing in the towel here. It is now 10-3, and the lefty hitting third baseman Carlos Franco steps in. That ball hit on a clothesline by Rodriguez.
And, you know, Shirley going out in this inning, you got the 8 and 9 hitter leading off. These are the guys you want to get out, knowing that when you get to the top of the order again, you're going to face some of the better hitters in the lineup.
Well, the key to the inning was missing the double play on the comebacker.
Yep, that would have gotten him out of the inning.
If that double play is turned, this is a 0 instead of a 2 with the potential for more. 1-0 on Franco. Swing and a miss. And the Barnstormers were fortunate to get 1 out on that play, too.
Yeah.
I don't know how Rendon managed to get that out.
Somehow he was able to keep his foot on the bag, that's for sure. Because I was watching the umpire, John Ramsey. He waited and waited to make sure that he was on.
That was a bit of acrobatics on the part of Rendon to be able to handle that ball going backwards and still keep a foot on the bag. 1-2, and a Franco at his low. Shirley still not out of this third inning. He was sailing. He'd gotten 6 outs in a row, but this York offense is tough to retire. They have some almost mind-boggling team numbers coming into this game, set up by the last 3. Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Franco out looking for the 2nd time in the ball game, and it cuts this inning off at 2 with 3 hits. And there were a couple of runners left on base. Middle of third, 10-3.
And coverage of Lancaster Barnstormer baseball continues as we'll pick up the series beginning on Tuesday when Gastonia comes to town for a 3-game set. First pitch, 6:30 Tuesday night here on Blue Ridge 11. New pitcher in the ball game for the Revs, right-hander Alberto Rodriguez.
He is. I think Sanchez wore himself out. No, he gave up 2 hits and a run that is earned to him and not to the team. Walked 1. Rodriguez taking over here. It's 10-3. This is a high-scoring first quarter of a football game.
Yeah. And you know, so many times too, when you get a big inning, when you're a pitcher, you want to come out, get out, give up no runs. Again, try and deflate the opponent. Now York got 2 runs. All right, yeah, they're still down 7, but it still gives them a little bit of life.
Yeah.
And we have seen it numerous times in this stadium. Runs can be scored in a hurry.
Well, the average Barnstormer game this year has had like 13.7 runs.
Okay.
And the last 2, the 2 home games, have averaged better than 20. Now, Lancaster may not have enough. York has scored 18 and 10 the 2 games here, 20, 18 and 10 the last 3. I started to talk about their team numbers. Coming into today, a 308 team batting average and a 435 team on base percentage.
Jeez.
Rodriguez misses a little bit up to Melvin Mercedes, who's perfect today. Comes back and delivers a strike to get the 1-1. Galen and Clark will follow, and then Rendon.
Yeah, so now what Lancaster wants to do is come back and answer with some runs of their own in the bottom of the 3rd.
Hard hit ground ball, diving try by Dundon. He makes the stop, loses his hat, but not the ball. Mercedes is out 4-3 and put a star by that one in the scorebook.
A heck of a play.
Andrew Dundon coming up big against Melvin Mercedes.
Ooh, and a face plant. That shook him up a little bit.
It was a pair of ground balls just like that one in the 10th inning last night. Mercedes saved one, gave up just 1 run, and then Peroni hit the ground ball that Sanford didn't even have to dive for, but he was lunging after it. The ball got away from him. He couldn't find it, and the tying and winning run scored. So here is Galen, and he takes an errant breaking ball, 1-0 from Rodriguez. Alberto Rodriguez, born in Havana, lives in Tampa, Florida. Galen gets under another one. And this is put away by Dundon, and it's 2 up and 2 down. Bringing on Ladarius Clark, already a 4 RBI day for him after a 3 RBI night last night. 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Now for Clark.
He's in a groove, to say the least. He and Mercedes.
Rodriguez, the former road warrior, deals inside and low. Ball 1. Few of those guys still around. Jalen Peguero with Gastonia rather. Inside for 2-0 count. I call Ladarius the vowel guy. He is A-E-I-O and U all in his first name.
Oh, I saw that in your notes, and I was trying to figure out what that meant. So I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you.
3-0.
Plus, you explained the nickname Red. Boy, you were probably just itching to do all this stuff again.
Like I said, I had a year and a half of scheming. Ground ball toward the hole at shortstop. There's a backhanded pick, and he hangs the throw, but not in time from Edwin Figuera. And the wonderful weekend continues for Ladarius Clark. He runs well.
Well, again, a ball that wasn't real hard hit, but the thing is, Figuera stayed back on it, and that just gave Clark an extra step or two, and Clark moves down the baseline really well.
This brings on the new switch hitter, Cleo Luis Rendon. He was batting exclusively right-handed until we got home. And he decided to pick up a bat and go for the switch hitting. First at bat, he singled to left. He has not had a hit since then. First game he hasn't started. Ground ball crisply hit right at the second baseman, Dundon, who has all the plays here in the bottom of the third inning. One hit, but that was it for Lancaster, and at the end of 3, it's 10-3 still. It's Silo and it's Ed. What would the ballpark be without them? And Crazy Claire, she's here today too. We have the entire trio.
Isn't she become like a staple in this place?
She has. She's the assistant Ed. They're a team now. Tommy Shirley is on the mound for the Barnstormers. It has not been a spectacular day for Tommy, but he's doing what he needs to do when your ball club scores 10 runs in the first couple of innings, and that is get outs. You don't want to start walking people. And it's not just a question of saving the bullpen for another day. It's a question of there basically is no bullpen.
That's pretty clear cut.
I'm not even sure what Ross plans to do today. If he has to use that bullpen for long. Here is Wellington Dotel. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Slow one. It's no balls and 1 strike. The bullpen is so short, and this was instrumental in winning the game last night, but Ross used Scott Schumann, the closer, for 2 innings in a game where the team was trailing. But Schumann totally shut down York those 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down, 4 strikeouts. And the Barnstormers were able to tie it in the bottom of the 9th. Ground ball on the right side, foul.
To the empty bullpen.
Right now they're staying out of the heat. I think you'll see Granites today.
So ideally you would love to see Shirley
you want to
go
see
6,
Shirley
7
go
innings?
at least 6 or 7, yeah. I don't think he's got more than that in him right now, but you'd like to get him through 6. 0-2, and Dotel fights off another one.
That's why you look back at last inning and, boy, he could have got out of that with that double play. He would have saved himself, a number of pitches.
Yeah.
But that's baseball. This is what happens.
Ground ball on the right side again. There's Mercedes a long way to his left, and he nabs him.
Yeah, that's some really nice range on the part of Melvin Mercedes.
He's just a good player. I've said this on a webcast when we were on the first road trip, but Joey Greer, my former assistant, and I were talking at the end of the 2019 season about what the club should look like for 2020. And we kind of decided the first guy to bring back was Melvin Mercedes. His year cut short in 2019 because of the broken ankle. But that guy can play some baseball. And he's a high-energy guy. He brings a lot of life to the field.
Well, and the thing is, it's not only the range in getting to the ball, but your momentum is carrying you to the foul line. He turns and spins, and the throw is right on. I mean, it is right at Blake Galen. He didn't have to move.
1-1 now on Rashad Crawford. Fly to center, his first time up. What a night he had last night. This has been a high-octane series offensively on both sides. Now 2-1. York, to this point in the series, has scored 31 runs. And the Barnstormers have crossed the plate 23 times. And we're still in roughly the early stages of Game 3. To Crawford, it is up. And a 3-1 count. Tyler Hill is on deck.
Well, and you can only hope that once we really get into the throes of the summer months that this York-Lancaster rivalry will heat up. I mean, it's been a great rivalry since its inception.
It's already there. 3-1. Big swing by Crawford and a foul back. It's already there.
What, each team has won 6 and 1 tie in the 13 seasons. And what, a 10 game difference.
Yeah, York's up 136 to 126. It was all that painful 2010 season.
Oh.
That ball club that Tommy Herr had here was not bad. It was a great offensive club. A little thin in the pitching department, but they got together with York, and it was just ouch, 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 ouch. You felt like the 98-pound weakling on the beach going up against Mike Tyson for a 15-rounder. It just wasn't pretty. 3-2. Crawford fouls it off the wrists. Some of those games were awful.
Yeah.
There was a game here where York piled up 60 total bases.
In one game.
In one game.
Oh.
It tied the American League record at the time. I don't know about the Atlantic League record. Nobody could trace it back, but 60 total bases. At 28 hits, and I think like 16 of them were for extra base. Liner and caught by Rendon, who timed it perfectly. That is out number 2. Tyler Hill stepping in. He was brought in for his glove.
He got a little extra hop with that. What's he got? Got a lollipop in there? Wouldn't.
Rendon is a fun-loving guy. Little whimsical. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Looks like a lollipop.
Or a straw, or
yeah. Now Hill with a fly ball toward the right field corner, giving chase into foul ground Aleman, but there is no play.
Brings back memories of UL Washington. Shortstop of the Kansas City Royals.
That open button style seems to be fairly commonplace on this York team. A little bit cooler, I suppose, on a day like today. Hill batting 0-2. These two teams will reconvene in 9 days at Peoples Bank Park. They play each other 25 times overall this year. Swing and a miss. Tommy Shirley with the 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. That is strikeout number 4 for the lefty. Nothing doing. We're through 3.5. Lancaster still up by 7. you get a look at one of the newly designed pink foul poles because of the sponsorship. One of the things that Rick White brought up in addressing the media here at Clipper Magazine Stadium during spring training was some of the things we've been able to do in Atlantic League play that have been out of the norm for baseball. Pink foul poles, purple batter's eyes, but why not? Who says the foul poles have to be yellow? Who says the batter's eyes got to be green? It has to be dark, that you understand. But why does it have to be green? Why can't it be purple? Blake Alleman has homered and driven in another run with a sacrifice fly. He faces Alberto Rodriguez in the bottom of the 4th inning. Lancaster up by 7. First pitch strike. Rodriguez has cooled the Barnstormers' heels a bit. And Lancaster 5 runs in each of the first 2 innings.
I didn't even take notice to the foul pole being that different color. But with ownership being very much into marketing and advertising, it does not come as a surprise that they took advantage of it.
We're just glad to be here. And
amen to that.
Glad that the Barnstormers in the Atlantic League survived the pandemic. A screamer foul off the bat of Alleman. He's feeling it this afternoon. 0-2. Blake Alleman, a man who was a collegiate All-American at Texas A&M. A very proud Aggie. You know who else was an Aggie? The best pitcher in franchise history, Dwayne Pollock.
Is that right? Wow.
By the way, I got a wonderful text last night during the game from Josh Bell.
Oh, yeah?
He wishes everyone in Lancaster well.
And where is he, and what is he doing?
Yeah, he's out of baseball right now, living and working in Phoenix, Arizona. He just wanted to pass along greetings to all the friends he made in Lancaster over the past 4 seasons we've had here. (0-2) to Alleman. Ground ball left side into the hole, and it goes underneath his glove. Is Figuera, and Alleman is on to start off the bottom of the 4th inning. You get into a game like this, it's hot, you've had all these long games, and you're just not always going to be as sharp.
I'm thinking that's a base hit.
I would lean in that direction also. It has not been posted on the board yet. Now, Bill Hoffman is deliberating.
Where's the Jeopardy music? As we wait.
Peroni will step in. There's a double play ball. Figuera on to Dundon and eventually to Rodriguez. That'll go 6-4-3. Easy as it gets for the York Revolution. 2 men are down. And the batter will be DeZamba. It went down actually as an error on the shortstop Figuera on the first play. He makes up for it by starting the double play. 2 are out, and the batter is DeZamba, who is 2 for 2.
So we're 0 for 2 on calls now. We thought pass ball, wild pitch. We thought base hit. It gets ruled an error.
Devon Torrance is in the on-deck circle. Nice day for DeZamba so far. He's that type of guy, and I'd never met him when he was in the league before. I was certainly aware that he was on those ball clubs, but he's that person, you meet him for 5 minutes and you think you've known him for 20 years. We know some people in common, and that had something to do with it. 2-0. He skies this toward the left field corner. Crawford was playing that way, and it's a 3-batter inning in the bottom of the 4th. 1 error, nobody left. At the end of 4, 10-3 Lancaster. It is a family fun day on this Sunday afternoon at Clipper Magazine Stadium. We've gotten to the 5th inning. Well, let's see, the game is about an hour and 35 minutes or so old, so we're basically on going about average. Those hand fans were given out. Nice little giveaway item, considering the climate conditions here this afternoon.
It's quite appropriate for today.
It is scorching here on the first Sunday of June. And, of course, D-Day. Remember all of those brave young men who stormed the beach at Normandy. A turning point in the history of the world. Because you always think, in that case dreadfully, you think of the what-ifs.
Yeah.
Here is Dundon, who walked back in the 3rd inning. Taking a pitch out of the zone from Tommy Shirley. Sanford on deck, and then Figuera. And then at the pitcher spot. Strike is taken. It's 1-1.
Where do you have Shirley as far as a pitch count is concerned?
Unofficially 67.
Okay.
1-1 is lifted foul and out of play.
Yeah, if we could get him through 6, and even 7 would be ideal.
Ross, in the 3rd game of the season, rode Andro Chatora 106 pitches.
Wow.
Because it was already thinned out. 1-2. Partial swing. Did he go? He sure did, says Bill Worthington. And Tommy Shirley racks up strikeout number 5. 1 out. Darian Sanford comes in again. Now the good book tells me to forgive. Am I there yet with Darian? Oh, sure I am.
Well, you know, I can't wait till Tuesday just to find out if you were able to catch up with him this afternoon and what his reaction would be.
First home run as a professional, and he hits it for York against Lancaster.
On the first pitch?
On the first pitch of the game. After all his time here, I watched 201 stolen bases and no home runs.
Well, he tried for a second one with that swing.
I'm sure Chad Landers is listening out in the truck. Darian was his favorite Barnstormer perhaps ever. They had some great interviews together. 1-1. And a second strike from Shirley. And today, this Shirley can be serious. A year and a half I had. 1-2 pitch hit in the air, right field. Pretty shallow. Aleman searching the skies will make the catch. 2 outs.
Now, how many other people caught up to that airplane reference? That's what I want to know. And the thing, I made a reference to UL Washington. I'm thinking, I bet you everybody in the truck is, who? Yeah.
Tommy Shirley has retired 6 in a row. Edwin Figuera to the plate. 0 for 2, run scored, run batted in. Foul back to the screen. It is 0-1. Tommy Shirley certainly physically looks like the same guy. His stuff is the same as when we last had him in 17 and 18. But there's a newly found confidence in him that we didn't necessarily see back then. He's attacking hitters better, and he spears that sharp one hopper off the bat of Figuera. Runs it halfway, underhands the rest to Galen, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the second frame in a row. We're halfway through today with Lancaster up by 7. Along with Eric May, Dave Collins back with you from Clipper Magazine Stadium on this rather sultry late spring afternoon. Barnstormers with 5 runs each of the first 2 innings to jump ahead 10-1. York cut into it slightly in the 3rd inning. And the Barnstormers will face Alberto Rodriguez for the 3rd straight inning as you get a look into the dugout. You know, on paper, you look at the outfield on this ball club and you're like, wow, this is shades of 2012 when we had Galen and Godwin and Lentini and Harvey in the outfield. I mean, this outfield is stacked. And then it's a lot of utility players in ways. Mercedes can play everywhere. Aleman can play everywhere. DeZamba can play everywhere. It's mix and match. And then you've got the elder statesman, Anderson De La Rosa, behind the plate. And you've got a couple of very raw catchers backing him up. But there is a chemistry with this group. And I'm really liking it.
Well, and the thing is, with this new rule change, to have guys that can play multiple positions is huge.
You've got the outfielder, pitcher, first baseman, Blake Galen.
Yeah.
And his baseball doppelganger, Caleb Gindel. They don't look a thing alike outside of maybe height, but they're kind of filling a similar role here. 1-2 to Torrance, who's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. These two teams are gassed from the last 3 days. And I think you can probably hear it in my voice too. The Barnstormers Wednesday night lost 13-4 at High Point, came out the next night and won 10-3. Both those games lasted seemingly forever. And then the 7.5-hour bus trip home, 2 3-hour, 59-minute games the last couple of nights. Torrance continues to battle.
Yeah, that, no doubt.
Short rosters really on both sides. There's just not a lot left in the tank. And of course, all the wheels having to spin. I think Ross is probably very mentally tired, and the same would be true for Mark Mason with this double hook rule. You have to plan it out. Torrance, a line drive, and he's got himself his first base hit of the series. He had 8 of them on the road. Lancaster with the leadoff man aboard here in the 5th inning, and Alejandro Deyasa checking in.
Just nice and easy, went with the pitch. Now everybody, if I'm not mistaken, no. Peroni doesn't have a base hit.
But he has walked twice. Everybody's been a base runner now. I do believe, yeah.
That's good to see.
This offense is working. One and 0 on Alejandro. Ross Peoples not only wanted Alejandro for his physical skills, but he was impressed by Deyasa with the New Britain Bees because of this guy's knowledge of the game. He said he's one of the smartest players he's ever seen. And Deyasa has connections all over baseball. Think of how many organizations in which he played, and he's played winter ball and so on and so forth. And considering the Barnstormers' plate and pitching, some of those connections may come in handy. He could know a few guys who are out there. You rebuild this pitching staff. If the Barnstormers had even 3 of the 6 starters that had been signed, this team, I think, would be untouchable. It's been an Achilles heel.
Yeah, but and again,
it's the Atlantic League,
right? It's to be expected. You know, when a guy starts to excel, then you start thinking, "Oh boy, is this just a matter of time before his name gets called?" And I guess you could say that about a position player as well, but I'm guessing now pitching is really going to be the premium
It is, and I think the reason you see so many pitchers go is because there is a need in the major league organizations, but also I think that with the TrackMan system and the spin rates and everything else getting reported, I think it's the easiest for scouts to see. They didn't see Brooks Hall in person last Sunday. They got the reports. And like I said, feeding frenzy. Deyasa goes down swinging. That's not easy to do, so hats off to Rodriguez. Melvin Mercedes will come to the plate. Mercedes robbed by his opposing second baseman Andrew Dundon the last time around.
Well, I think we're starting to see more and more about analytics being even more so part of the game.
Just as long as they don't make us talk about launch angle.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Exit velocity.
Ball one to Mercedes. Because in my baseball world, there's still room for Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was talk of, again, this was just chatter, not being able to do the shift. Yeah, okay, I'm not really a fan of it, but it's a defensive strategy.
I'm not a fan of the shift because I believe in Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn. You wouldn't have shifted against them.
No.
They would have burned that every single time.
Yep.
Mercedes gives one a ride out to right center field, giving chase is Sanford. He can't get it, and the ball kicks away. Coming around is Torrance. On the way to third is Mercedes. The ball is juggled again. Mercedes is coming all the way. I think that's probably a triple and an error. Not an inside the park home run, but it is 12-3.
Yeah, it appeared that Sanford got a good jump on the ball, but it just kept carrying, and then when it caromed away, it was when Sanford went to pick up the ball that he mishandled it. Right here.
He overran it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get an official ruling on that one, but we've been wrong before today, but I'm thinking triple and error. Melvin's having some kind of a season.
Yeah,
breaking ball for a strike to Galen.
It will go down as a triple and an error.
Yeah, that has to. You like inside the park home runs, but you can't justify it. Galen has to get out of the way. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. I cannot get over how well Melvin Mercedes is swinging the bat. He has been unconscious. He'll get 1 RBI. Lancaster back ahead by 9. And to Galen, 2-1.
Well, they say hitting is contagious, and we're seeing it. Everybody is contributing here. Obviously, Mercedes has been the main cog in this offensive wheel so far this season.
One of the staples in the early days of Barnstormers baseball, and you remember this, Eric, was the everybody hits woo cheer. I heard one person on Friday night go, everybody walks woo. But today it's everybody hits.
Those games, thankfully, are few and far between. They are not a lot of fun to be part of.
3-2. Even talking to Darrell Henry and Ray Jensen, the broadcast crew for the Revs, they were bored to tears the other. It was just torture to get through that 4-hour game.
Yeah.
24 total walks. Last night was a thrill a minute for 4 hours. It didn't end. That one was nonstop excitement. Today, probably painful on the York side. Galen draws his 2nd walk of the afternoon, and now it will be Ladarius.
Number 1 on the left fielder, Ladarius Clark.
In the clubhouse, everybody does call him Red, but Ladarius. I love the sound of it. I'm going with it. It sounds imposing to me, and he is.
Yeah. And he's showing it here this afternoon.
12-3 Barnstormers. And outside, ball one. I talked to Ross. We first signed Ladarius. Ross did prior to last season, the Phantom season. And Ross said, I'm going to bring this guy in and see what he can do. I kind of like his tools, and I'm excited to see what he might be able to bring here.
Uh-oh.
And we'll see. He swings and misses and gets hurt on the recoil. Well, he's already busted a bat in his hands. How strong do you have to be to do that, or how defective did the bat have to be? I'm not sure which. And there, he knocked himself out on the swing, and that can be painful. I'll tell you what you hope that is not, and that's an oblique. But it very well could be.
Yeah, because the bat did not hit him on the backswing. That's exactly what I was thinking. Something in the midsection.
Obliques, you could ask Lance Zawadski, are the most frustrating injuries you can have.
Wow.
Checking
something in his neck.
Wow. Bizarro world keeps happening. I've never seen somebody injure a neck on a swing. I've never seen somebody break a bat in his hand on a swing and a ball that was not touched. Both of those have happened to Clark here today. The Barnstormers already short on players because Kelly Dugan had to come out.
He took a foul ball off the kneecap. Imagine that thing's probably swollen. Just hope it's not a deep contusion.
He was hurting. Because Gindel and Robinson are already not completely unavailable. They can pinch hit, but that's about it. It is remarkable to me this team is sitting in first place when you think about everything that the Barnstormers have had to endure the first week and a half of the season, and this team's in first place.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder just what is in store this year. Swing and a miss there by Ladarius.
Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
Kind of like when after Dugan fouled that one off his knee, you could tell just in a lot of pain. And Clark looks a little uneasy as well.
Did he go? No. It's 2-2. I didn't think so either.
No, I didn't think so as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 12-3 Barnstormers. We're just in the 5th inning.
Close.
Very close.
Closer than I thought.
When you appeal to a first base umpire's in position like that, is can he see the end of the bat? That's what they go by. 2-2. Now he goes down swinging there. So Clark is retired for the first time in the ball game. Rodriguez with his second strikeout of the inning and his effort. Now Cleo Luis steps in, grounded out his first time up. Well, he's the one guy who hasn't reached base, but he's been a base runner because he pinch ran for the injured Kelly Dugan. I want to talk about tired. We got back off that bus trip, and the first thing Rendon did was jump in a car and drive to the Philly airport to pick up his wife, who was in from Florida for the weekend.
That's quite a long day.
I've shed to the fans or viewers or listeners over this first week and a half that one of my great hopes for this summer is that the COVID protocols get completely relaxed and they can enjoy the personality of this ball club. No autographs right now, no balls tossed into the sands, but this is an enjoyable team. 1-1, and the fastball is poured in outside. Edge to Rendon at 2 balls and a strike. Native of Venezuela is Cleo Luis, bounced around the minors. Great glove. The bat has lagged. He had a career .206 average coming into this year. Strike 2 to the inner edge. Alemond waits on deck. "11 Barnstormers base hits today." Swing and a miss. And that will be it for the Barnstormers in the 5th, but 2 runs are across. They do it with 2 hits and an error. And 1 man left. End of 5, 12-3. Welcome back from Clipper Magazine Stadium. Another high-scoring contest here this afternoon. We don't have much else to report on an Atlantic League scoreboard today, and there is a reason for that. The teams in the newly formed Southern Division do not play day games on Sundays, and I remember that from my time in the Carolina League. You get to the heat of the summer season, and they like to go at 5 o'clock or later on Sundays. And that is the case. The West Virginia at Lexington game is 5:05. The Gastonia at High Point game is 5:05. The only game underway in Long Island and Southern Maryland are scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Didn't they do that a summer or 2 here as well?
Yeah, we've had some years where we started at 5 o'clock. Get a look out in center at Alejandro Deyasa. And we've had some defensive changes, I believe, for the Barnstormers. Yet Deyasa is now at first, it looks like. Galen back in the outfield.
No, that's De La Rosa at first.
It's it's 32. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's De La Rosa at first. Galen's back in the outfield. They had, I believe, to take Clark out.
Oh, yes.
I thought I saw 37. Like I was looking for the number. All right, De La Rosa is at first base.
So he'll hit in Clark's spot.
I think.
These changes for the Barnstormers. Blake Galen moves back to right field. Blake Alemond is now playing left field.
Alemond is in left,
and
yeah.
Anderson De La Rosa is playing first base.
We delve deeper into the bizarre. A neck injury on a swing. Here is the pitcher, Alberto Rodriguez, taking a ball high from Tommy Shirley.
Thank goodness it's an off day tomorrow.
Yeah. This club is really banged up. I have actually, and we may have to ask, the league may have to ask President Rick White to contact Major League Baseball. It's the agreement we have in this partnership deal, but we may need to hold up on this double hook rule for a week or two until these rosters get filled back up. It's really hard to operate right now. The whole idea, I think the idea could work at the Major League level, where you've got 5 set starting pitchers and always have a 25 or 26-man roster. Why not? But sometimes here we're playing with 20 or 21, 22 guys, short pitching staffs, and it's tearing up ball clubs, and it's creating a lot of lopsided games.
Well, and you don't have a minor league team that you can just pull somebody up from. You know, this is now Lancaster and any other team in the Atlantic League. They have to scour the waiver wire, and they have to find out somebody.
2-2, swung and missed by Rodriguez. Strikeout number 6 for Shirley. He has 18 now for the season in only 13 2/3 innings. Really like what I've seen out of Tommy so far this year. And he's doing a great job pitching with the lead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you take away that third inning with that little bit of a hiccup, but 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. It's a very efficient afternoon for Tommy Shirley.
Rodriguez has singled in a run. Swing and a miss. No balls and strike. And I'll tell you, with the heat today, and we detailed at length what these two teams have been through the last few days, you're behind by 9 runs.
Yeah.
Do you find the energy? You hope somebody will bring it back to the field for York if you're sitting in their dugout. High pop fly, foul and out of play, 0-2, but sometimes it can be hard to locate. Right now, Tommy Shirley has retired 8 York batters in a row.
Well, that third inning had to give him a shot in the arm, but then when Lancaster got 2 back in the 5th, you're kind of thinking, oh my.
Up and away.
Because York will go home and play Southern Maryland for a 3-game series starting Tuesday.
There's been kind of a pod early on with Lancaster, York, Gastonia, and High Point. We've all played each other. And for the Barnstormers, that will continue with Gastonia coming in here. But York does meet up with Southern Maryland as the teams start to mingle a bit more. 2-2. Excited about exploring new territory. I love the setup in Gastonia. Just wonderful people down there. Great hotel. Cute little ballpark. Here's a 2-2. Hard hit ground ball. There's a base hit from Rodriguez, his second of the day. And York with hit number 5 off of Tommy Shirley.
See, the first thing I always think about is the stadium, the press box. Do you have a good angle? Do you have a good view of the field?
It wasn't the best in Gastonia. It's off to the first base side. I, in no way, shape, or form, could get right field in the camera shot, and I couldn't see it myself. But there was just a neat atmosphere there. Franco has struck out looking twice. Now takes a fastball up.
What kind of attendance did they have? They
had a sellout technically opening night for 5,000. A little bit, quite a bit shorter than that the rest of the time we were there. But there was an energy in that ballpark, I felt. I think it's going to work. I really hope it does. That area is growing. Charlotte is a rapidly expanding market. They've got the AAA team, the Chicago White Sox, in the city of Charlotte itself. They got a single A team in Kannapolis, which isn't far away, northern suburbs more or less. And Gastonia is only, I think, officially 17 miles to the west. And the market seems to be expanding that way. And we talk about the Honey Hunters coming in here on Tuesday night. The connection with the New Britain Bees, the manager Mauro Gazzo, who was with the Bees, is now the King Bee went down to the Honey Hunters. He's the manager of Gastonia. Breaking ball, oh, that looked good, but not either to the electronics or Nicholas Mullen. I'm not sure which one is registering the balls and strikes today. Last night the ABS system wasn't working, and it was up to John Ramsey to call the balls and strikes. 2-2. Today I think the electronics have taken over again. Fly ball out to left. Alemond is there coming in toward the line. He's got it for out number 2. And it'll bring on Wellington Dotel. Wellington's in his 6th season in the Atlantic League. He's been with Bridgeport and Sugar Land before becoming a fixture in York. And he, to me, is one of the most entertaining players this league has had. I love watching Wellington Dotel. And there's a part of me that would have always liked to have had Dotel here because he's such an entertaining guy. He is in person, too. He's a little bit of a whimsical character. I've gotten to know him some over the years. And he can do a lot of things. Fastball is high, ball one.
Yeah, he said it's only his third season in York, and he's 5th all-time in stolen bases, tied for 4th in triples,
Yeah,
tied for 7th in outfield assists.
He's won a batting title in this league when he was with Bridgeport. Swing and a miss, it's 1-1. But I don't see Wellington Dotel being Pete Incaviglia's cup of tea. And they parted ways fairly quickly. Yeah, I just, that just does not seem like a match made by eHarmony or eBaseball or whatever. 1-1. 12-3 Barnstormers here in the 6th. Shirley deals, and that's fouled off.
Well, you got a couple of guys sitting in the Lancaster bullpen, so I would imagine in the next half inning they might get up and start tossing.
I have Shirley at 93. 1-2 pitch is strike 3 on the inside corner. Love the way Tommy's working the edges here. His 7th strikeout, no runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. He may get a 7th inning. And Lancaster leads it 12-3. And we've been talking about earlier today the Atlantic League expanding into the future. One of the other markets that is planned, if everything keeps going forward, they have the money secured, and that's Hagerstown, Maryland. And Hagerstown had this old ballpark that, well, does not exactly have the greatest reputation of being a modern 21st century facility. It's anything but. And they've had a team in the Carolina League starting in 1981, and then for 4 years the Orioles had their Eastern League team in there. I worked there, and then since then it's been in the South Atlantic League, affiliated with San Francisco and Toronto at various times, and later on Washington. But Hagerstown got punched out by the minor league reorganization. And there's no team in that city right now. If they really want one, they understood in that market that the only way to have professional baseball in Hagerstown was to build a new stadium. They have the ownership, they have the funding from the state, and it looks like that's going forward. And I felt for a long time there's a soft spot in my heart for Hagerstown, and I knew that ballpark just wasn't going to work into the future. But you give them a new ballpark and put it anywhere near Interstate 81 where they can draw from Martinsburg and they can draw from the Chambersburg-Waynesboro area, you're going to have a gold mine. I really believe that. First pitch is a strike to Blake Alamond. It is 0-1. Left-hander Edward Paredes is now on for the York Revolution as we've hit the bottom half of the 6th inning. Tommy Shirley has shut the door on the Revs since the 3rd. They were making some waves there, and now Lancaster does have action in the bullpen. Surely it looks like we'll take a seat after 6. And I think that's maybe attributable to the heat as much as anything else today. Yeah. He might have been able to go one more, but Ross doesn't want to take that chance.
No, especially with a pitching staff as thin as it is.
High drive out the right field for Aleman, and that one will be caught as Dotel runs it down. Aleman was trying to join that short list of Barnstormers to have homered from each side of the plate in a game, but he comes up maybe 15 feet short. Thought he had a little more distance on it than just the warning track.
Yeah, the wind even blowing that way, but it just seemed to really die towards the end.
Peroni steps in. He has walked twice and grounded into a double play. The man who won the game for the Barnstormers a night ago. The receiver from the Trenton, New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey area, Hamilton specifically. Ball one is inside and low. He got Heath Philmeyer here for one start. Really good friends from back home in Jersey. And then Philmeyer was gone. Last I knew, he was pitching in AAA for Columbus. Ground ball down the line at third, but foul. Hugged the line for a while, couldn't stay in. Philmeyer, I think, would have totally dominated. Brickhouse would have been very good. 3 of them I never got to see. Brandon Lawson I saw in spring training in 19. He was gone before the season started then and gone before he even got here this year. 2-1. Maybe we'll try again in the future. Hopefully, for Brandon's sake, we don't have the opportunity to. Remember Tim Dillard?
Yes.
He was here for like a week twice. About 12 and 13, 13 and 14. Kept going back to the Brewers. I think he's still pitching. 3-1 now on Peroni from Paredes. And I dare you to say that several times in a row.
Once is enough.
Edward Paredes, one of the handful on this York ball club to have major league experience. Working with catcher Tyler Hill. The 3-1. Peroni screams a sharp foul. 3-2.
Now, I haven't looked at major league rosters that closely, but is there anybody still up at the major leagues that played in Lancaster?
The answer to that, I believe, is no. Marcus Walden is back in AAA. He was in the major leagues last year with the Red Sox. He had a great season in 19, but he was off his game last year. Got DFA'd, designated for assignment this spring. Ground ball by Peroni. This one is fair and taken by Franco. And there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bringing on DeZamba.
I'm trying to think. There was another guy, relief pitcher.
Brandon Mann had been there with the Texas. Austin Bibbins-Dirks.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Bibbins-Dirks is in AAA, I believe.
With the Rangers?
I think he's with the Rangers in Round Rock. We looked up Lawson's stats. He's in the bullpen for Corpus Christi, the Astros AA team, and he's pitching very well. DeZamba with a ground ball toward the middle. That'll be taken by Dundon, and Edward Paredes deals a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom half of number 6. We'll go to the 7th. Lancaster's up by 9. You see the score through 6 innings here today. The Barnstormers opened up early, 10 runs in the first 2 innings, 3 straight home runs back in the first off the bats of Clark, Dugan, and Alemond. And York has gone into an offensive lull since the third. Great effort for Tommy Shirley again today. And you could talk to me about ERA and WHIP and a number of other statistics, spin rate, velocity, et cetera, et cetera. I care the most when it comes to my starting pitchers. I care mainly about the QS, the quality start.
Yes.
And today is one for Shirley. It's only the second by a Barnstormer starter this year. The other one was Heath Philmeyer opening night against the Gastonia Honey Hunters. Now young Jamarcus Lang, youngest player on the ball club, will take over in the 7th inning, and Ross Peoples giving him an opportunity in a non-pressure situation. Jamarcus is a hard thrower out of the Texas Rangers organization, but he is raw. As I said, 22 years of age. He only played in rookie ball. He hails from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Very slender young fellow, 6'2" and 170. And he looks more filled out in the baseball uniform than he does in person. He is a stick. Again, just one of the young people on this ball club, filled with life, filled with energy, and just a really, really nice human being. Very, very polite fellow is Jamarcus Lang. So family, if you're listening back in Mississippi, he's into the ball game now, and you raised a good one. You raised a good young man. Jamarcus Lang is, he'll turn 23 in October. He's listed 6'2", 170.
Oh my.
It's his 3rd appearance for the Barnstormers, but the first 2 have been in games where the Barnstormers have been on the ropes with very short starts, and Jamarcus has had, well, we'll say his share of troubles finding the strike zone, and the numbers have been anything but good. We're not going to get you into the gory details. We just want to see some success for him this afternoon.
Well, I'm sure Ross said, look, just get out there, just relax.
Throw strikes.
Let your defense do the work for you.
Yeah, throw strikes.
Yep.
He's had a hard time doing that. Raw ability is there. We've said that with some of the other youngsters, DeSabatino and Taggart, on this pitching staff. There's the makings there of something, but it's going to be developmental, and you'd have to be really, really patient. And you're in a situation here in the Atlantic League where we'd always like to have 1 or 2 of this type of player. Right now, most of these pitching staffs have more than that, and that's why we're seeing some of these high-scoring games and these blowouts. Ball 2 is low. Jamarcus really has had trouble getting the ball in the zone. Ross giving him a chance here with the 9-run lead.
Well, and this is his chance to show something. You know, it's a huge lead for Lancaster, but you don't want to be giving up free bases.
A strike taken by Crawford. It's 2-1. Shirley gave up 5 hits and 3 runs in his 6 innings. He walked 1, struck out 7. That is a nice effort, and one very much needed for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Popped up right side, and Lang is over there. He needs to get out of the way.
Yeah.
That belongs to De La Rosa, who makes the catch. We had a moment the other night in High Point. A pop fly by Cleo Luis Rendon was dropped by Logan Morrison, but it was dropped by Logan Morrison because there was too much traffic around him. They had a total accident, and it led to a 3-run inning that pretty much sealed the game for the Barnstormers. 1 out, and here is Hill taking ball 1 upstairs. It's 1-0. Lang has some pretty decent velocity. And he's another project for Ross Peoples. We're talking about Taggart, DeSabatino, Donald Goodson, who Ross just loves. But Goodson has had some rough times as well. 2-0 on Hill, 1 out, nobody on base. And it is ball 3 from Jamarcus Lang.
You know, getting back to Tommy Shirley, too, the fact that, I mean, you give up a home run in the first pitch of the game, and then you have a potential double play ball that you throw away. You think, okay, could this be something that derails him? What's he do? He retires 10 of the last 11 batters he faces then. So he ended up on a very, very strong note.
Runner on with a 1-out walk here in the 7th inning. Dundon will come to the plate. I don't really know where else Ross can go in this game except for Granites. Infield set, looking to turn 2. And a Dundon high and inside. It is ball 1. That could be some nerves. It could be some mechanics. It's going to take some work. 1-0. Lang to the plate, ball 2. Friends with Ladarius Clark. And I haven't been able to pin down whether that's from the Rangers organization or from Mississippi ties. But when the Barnstormers found themselves virtually out of pitchers, Ladarius was able to get in touch and bring Jamarcus Lang in here. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, runner on board, not being held at first base by De La Rosa. Strike is taken. It's 2-1. By the way, the pitcher spot leads off the bottom of the 7th inning. Does Lang get 1 and Robinson or Gindel bat? Everybody else just about's been used. Ball 3, that gets through Peroni and gives Hill second base. You really have to throw strikes here, and I'm sure that Jamarcus Lang is perfectly well aware of that. But it has been a struggle. It is now 3-1 on Dundon. Ross doesn't want to have to go back to his bullpen.
No.
Because of the double hook rule. And because he's so short. 3-1. And that gets through Peroni for ball 4, and runners are at the corners.
Well, and especially the way that this game, it took an hour for an inning or inning and a half. Then things started moving along.
Yeah, the middle 3 innings went by in a hurry.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden things are starting to come to a screeching halt again, and these guys are tired. They're hot.
2 pass balls, and allowing Hill to get the second and the third. Now you've got the second walk of the inning, and here is Darian Sanford. Homered leading off the ball game on the first pitch from Tommy Shirley. Inside and ball 1 from Lang. Well, it's a 9-run lead, but suddenly you're uneasy. If the Barnstormers are so short in the bullpen. The 22-year-old has to throw some strikes and get some outs. It's 2-0. The thing you last wanted to see here is a string of walks.
Right. Exactly.
You can't afford it. The ball's in play. You have the chance to get some outs. 2 balls and no strikes to Sanford. Lang ready to go. It's ball 3, and another one gets away from Peroni. That one, I believe, will be a wild pitch. But, oh, boy. But even more so is the fact that it's Sanford way ahead in the count.
And if you're a York batter, there's no need to swing until he can throw a strike.
The only thing Ross could do right now, I think, is maybe bring Galen in from right field. It is that thin out in the bullpen. 12-4 now, and that's ball 4 to Sanford. 3 walks in a row. He got the foul out from Crawford, and things look promising. And Ross Peoples is on his way out to try and coax the youngster through this. Figueroa will step in. 2 teammates are on. There is 1 out in the inning. Lang and Peroni are on different shelves in the library, it seems, not on the same page. I mean, 3 have gotten through. They're young and they really haven't had much of a chance to work together. So I'll cut them some slack on that front, but they really have crossed each other up on a number of occasions here.
And that's obviously what Ross is addressing to not only Lang, but to Peroni as well. It's one thing to give up the walk, but then these pass balls and wild pitches are just having these York base runners circle around.
Tommy Shirley went 5 innings on Tuesday and 6 innings this afternoon. Andre Chatora went 5 innings on Thursday. Other than that, we've had short starts. Now in the opening series, Phil Meyer went 6. Lakin only went 2 2/3. Tommy Shirley backed him up as he left hurt. And the pitch to Figueroa is outside and low. Ball 1 and no strikes in a 12-4 ball game. Chatura went 5 on Saturday. Hall went 5 on Sunday. So the situation really wasn't bleak until the High Point series. 1-0. And it is ball 2, skipping to the plate. He got the first out. I thought things were going to go a lot better for him. York was up there swinging aggressively given the situation in the ball game.
He seems to just be overthrowing. Everything is down low.
3-0. Ross is at some point going to be compelled to change. I don't know exactly when he's going to do it, and he may go to Galen, but this is getting a little bit dicey. Here's the 3-0, and a strike is dealt. Figueroa batting 3-1. And I think he takes a pitch.
Oh, yeah.
He took the last one. I think he takes another. Now the pitcher spot is due next. And they've had their pitchers bat. It is ball 4, and they're loaded. 4 walks in a row.
Fans, we have a vehicle that is parked illegally in the player's parking lot, and you need to move it immediately. It is a white Volkswagen Atlas.
Or is it? No, this is Paredes.
6325. Once again, that white VW.
The third pitcher to bat. Infield single for Sanchez. Rodriguez struck out, and now Paredes bats with the bases loaded and 1 out. It's 12-4. Lang with the bases full. Fires low. It is ball 1. I don't know if you consider this the yips or not, but it's in that direction. And now 2-0.
I think maybe for the first batter, and then maybe when you get your first out, then you start to settle down. But I think it's like you mentioned, it could be technique. It's mechanics.
And Granitz begins to tune up in the bullpen. I don't think Ross wanted to go to him in the 7th inning. There's a strike on Paredes. It is 2-1. 1 run home. Dundon is at third. Sanford at second. Figueroa is at first, and Granitz gets ready. Ball 3 is high, 3-1. And there's the 4th one. 5 walks in a row. And suddenly, this game's in a little jeopardy. Ross is coming back out, and that will be it for Jamarcus Lang. We're going to take a break. Garrett Granitz will try to get the Barnstormers out of a mess. It's 12-5 with the bases loaded and 1 out. We'll take a break. Garrett Granitz can be a ground ball pitcher, and boy, could the Barnstormers use one now. 5 straight walks here in the 7th inning, and the 9-run lead is down to 7, and York has the bases loaded with 1 out. Granitz was having a personal feud with the automated balls and strike system the other night. It cut Garrett no slack whatsoever with that frisbee slider. And we're ready to go. And the batter is Nelly Rodriguez, who has already homered once in this series. He's 2 for 3 today. This is a delicate spot for the Barnstormers, and you knew it was coming. Tommy Shirley did a great job. His biggest mistake today was not turning that double play back in the 3rd inning. If he had, I think he gets to go 7. That inning used up a lot of pitches. On the mound, as far as his pitching work was concerned, he was terrific. Called strike. It is 0-1 here on Rodriguez, and the Barnstormers need some outs from Granitz.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can play 9 innings of baseball, and you can look at one exact play that stands out. And how it could
Here's
change.
the 0-1 from the Submariner. It is high. Ball 1, strike 1.
Yeah, a double play would be, you know, a huge out here.
Foul ball back to the screen. We go to a ball and 2 strikes on Rodriguez, and the left-handed batting Carlos Franco is due next. Granitz needs to get the Barnstormers through this 7th inning. You can give up 1 on a sac fly. He just needs an out here. 1-2 pitch, angles off the outside corner, and we go to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
People are probably thinking, it's 12-5. What are you worried about? Well, again, it's a situation where things can
Atlantic
change.
League Baseball 2021. And it wouldn't be such a concern if the Barnstormers had more pitchers in reserve. Ball 3 is inside. Granite's here on Friday. Walked 3 in an inning and a third. Lancaster used 5 members of the pitching staff in that game, and they all walked at least 3. 3-2 pitch, high drive, left field. Look out. Back goes Alamond. It's carrying, and the walls will not contain it. That is a grand slam for Nelly Rodriguez, rather, and it's 12-9. He clubs the 3-2 pitch out of the yard. And the lead is suddenly down to 3, all because of the Barnstormers' utterly depleted pitching staff. I mean, this is not funny. There is nothing Ross can do. We've got one guy coming tomorrow. We need more.
Yeah.
Just to fill in the rod. Let's not even contemplate replacing somebody who's here currently. But there are like about 3 available spots on the roster that could just be filled in. Now to Franco, a ball. It's 1-0. Granite's giving up the grand slam to Rodriguez. York with a 6-run inning, still only 1 out. Garrett to the plate, and he misses. It's ball 2.
And when you saw the first 2 innings, you're thinking this is going to be a walk in the park here today. And boy, has it changed.
It was only a matter of as far as Tommy Shirley could go. Off the inside corner, ball 3. And the way the automated ball strike system set up, it really neutralizes that frisbee slider, which is meant to cut across the front corner.
Yeah.
3-0, and a strike for Granite's on Franco. Still just 1 out in the inning. Franco batting, Dotel is on deck. And the Barnstormers have lost the DH, so the pitcher spot will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. And we could be staring down the barrel of another 4-hour-long game. The 6th walk of the inning.
Well, and you mentioned, too, with his pitching style and the way that the automated machine sometimes doesn't pick it up, now he's got to change his approach. Now if he leaves the ball up, it's more in the hitter's zone.
The strike zone is set as a plane 7.5 inches back from the front of the plate. If you're used to working that front corner and having the ball dive one way or the other, that's all gone. That can't be part of your arsenal anymore. To Dotel, a strike, and it's 0-1. York with 6 runs on the board this inning, 1 hit, the grand slam by Rodriguez, and 6 walks. Here's the 0-1, high and outside. Peroni fires behind Franco, but he's back. It is 1-1. The Barnstormers, Ross Peoples, he had a plan. He had this. The only thing he was looking for was one additional lefty out of the bullpen, and he has that coming in Gabriel Moya, who arrives tomorrow. But he's been forced to move relievers into the starting rotation, getting these short starts. The bullpen is sapped. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Dotel, crisp ground ball, and the tying run will come to the plate in Rashad Crawford. The tying run in a game the Barnstormers led 12-3 coming into the 7th inning, and there's still just 1 out. Remember, Crawford began this inning with a harmless foul pop-up to Anderson De La Rosa over at first.
Yeah. Yeah. Which seems like an eternity ago.
The last 8 batters have reached. Inside, and it is a ball on Crawford. The inning has turned into pretty much a disaster for the Barnstormers. And they're going to have to somehow fight back and get some extra runs, it would appear. 1-0 on Crawford. Granite's is off the inside corner again. 2-0. And can't get people to understand what Ross Peoples has gone through already this year. 3-0. And we've had people come up to the press box. Where's Scott Schumann? Where's Junior Rincon? They've all been overused.
Yeah.
Schumann threw 2 innings last night because there was nobody else. And another walk. The bases are loaded for Tyler Hill. And Lancaster has gotten somebody else throwing in the bullpen.
But they pull somebody out of the stands?
It is Rincon. And here is he threw an inning and a third last night. Pitches off the outside corner. Granitz is yet to get an out. Franco at third, Dotel at second, Crawford at first. And it flips outside, ball 2. 9 men in a row have reached base for York. 6 have scored. The other 3 occupy the bases. Since the foul pop-up that started the inning, Tyler Hill drew the first of the 5 straight walks from Jamarcus Lang. The more he tried to throw strikes, the harder it became. And the 2-0 from Granitz is in, and the strike taken. Rashad Crawford drew the last walk. He's at first. Dotel at second. Franco at third. 2 balls, 1 strike on Tyler Hill, who has scored 2 runs today, including 1 this inning. Strike 2 on the outside corner. That pitch right there is huge. It's the one that Granitz has been looking for 2 straight outings.
Yep.
And he finally got it. 2-2 on Hill. Dundon waits on deck. Granitz with the pitch, and he's gone to another full count. He was 3-2 on Rodriguez and gave up the grand slam. You can't let up against this York offense. There's too much here. Barnstormers pitchers have now walked 8 in this game. 7 this inning, 3-2 to Hill. Swung at and fouled away.
It's one thing to be giving up runs when the team is hitting the ball. Here, Lancaster is just self-destructing.
There's 7 walks when you started the inning with a 9-run lead. I guarantee Ross is running for the Pepto bottle.
He's probably had it hooked up via IV.
Lashed foul off to the right and out of play. Still 3-2. Andrew Dundon waits on deck.
This is a game that you just thought the way they started, they can just put the icing on the cake and ride it home. But, man.
I knew pretty much there was nothing behind Shirley. Swing and a miss. That gets away from Peroni, but he's automatically out with the bases loaded. So there is the long-awaited out number 2.
Second baseman Andrew Dundon.
Andrew Dundon steps in. We talked about 2 hits, 8 runs batted in. Well, he's got a chance to build on that here. Sacks full with 2 outs. It's suddenly 12-9. Well, it's not even suddenly. It's over the span of an inning, but a long drawn-out inning. Ball 1 high and outside to Dundon. Darian Sanford is on deck, and Ross Peoples is going to go back to the pen. Rincon is ready. He will wait no longer. Granitz will be lifted. He has given up 2 hits and 2 walks.
Well, you got
1 out.
You got the trainer out there. I don't know if it's a situation
Yeah.
that something is bothering Granitz now. Oh my!
SOS, but glad for the off day tomorrow. Junior Rincon will be taking over with a count of 1-0 on Andrew Dundon, and once again, we'll take a break. Andrew Dundon has a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Junior Rincon needs an out here to get us to the 7th inning stretch. A 9-run lead has turned into a 3-run lead with the tying runs on base. Dundon batting at 1-0. Garrett Granite's leaving with an injury. Rincon fires, and he is high. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, watching Granite's walk off the mound, again, don't know if he pulled something or some discomfort, but he just looked absolutely gassed.
Rincon with the 2-0 finds the zone, make it 2-1. Now, Clark is already left with an injury today. Dugan's left with an injury. Now Granite's does. Today is taking its toll. Dundon bats 2-1. Rincon fires, and that is popped up right side. De La Rosa coming over, and he's got it. The inning is finally over. Lancaster retains part of the lead. 12 men bat. There were only 2 hits in the inning, but 6 runs. 3 are left. Time for the stretch. It is 12-9 Barnstormers. The first inning was a homer fest. Dugan with the 2nd in a row for the Barnstormers, and Aleman the 3rd. The Barnstormers took a 5-1 lead, and they would continue to roll along. There was a mistake defensively by Tommy Shirley. The Barnstormers did get the out at 2nd. And York has battled back into the game despite the continuing offense by the Barnstormers. There, Melvin Mercedes with a triple and error coming all the way around. Jamarcus Lang struggled to throw strikes. And then the grand slam off the bat of Nelly Rodriguez. The first home run of this series to left field. It's gotten crazy all weekend long. 20 runs, 21 runs, and 21 runs. And the explanation for this, well, one, you've got two clubs with good offenses. But the second explanation is quite simple. You've got two pitching staffs that have been largely bled dry by contracts being purchased. Devon Torrance will lead off. He is the left fielder as we try to follow the bouncing ball players in the Barnstormers lineup. This has gotten to the point where it's almost absurd. So I'm thinking maybe it's Aleman that's out. The Torrance high for a ball, 1-0 from the fifth pitcher used for the York Revolution today. Lancaster could use a run or two here.
Yes, they could.
Torrance 1 for 2 with an RBI on a sac fly. And there's ball 2 up and away. York has a lot more available arms as they go now to Eduardo Rivera, and he's been really good for them. Swing and a foul tip, 2-1. Deyasa and Mercedes will follow. Mercedes with his 6th multi-hit game. We're only in our 10th. Ball 3 is outside to Torrance. It is 3-1. So little is left in the tank for both of these ball clubs. And today, we're not quite at 3 hours yet, but we're only in the bottom of the 7th inning. So it's basically a lock that the Barnstormers will play their 10th straight game over 3 hours. Now Torrance gets a walk. That is the 6th given up by York pitching. Overall today we have seen 14.
Oh my.
Last night was going along pretty well until the 10th inning. And we ended up with a total of 9 walks in that game. The average is around 13. Alejandro Deyasa comes in. 1 out of 4 today with 2 runs scored. Torrance may be on the move here. Good looking breaking ball for a strike. It is 0-1. Devon has a stolen base, but they didn't give it to him. It was one of those situations we had to realize that Torrance had broken for second before a pitch got away. And it went down in the books officially as a wild pitch. But it should have been a stolen base while we were on the road. There he goes. The pitch to Diaz is inside. The throw is late. Torrance moves into scoring position.
Hill had no shot whatsoever.
He threw from his knees and just couldn't get enough on it.
No, and Torrance got a great jump at first. Well, you had that call right.
1 ball and 1 strike to Deyasa with the runner in scoring position. And Alejandro laces that past Ross Peoples. 1-2. How do you wear a jacket on a day like this? Wow. And Ross is a guy who keeps his office sub-igloo. I have to put an extra layer on just to walk in there to drop something off. 1-2 on Deyasa, trying to pick up a Barnstormers insurance run. He lays off and gets strike 3 called.
Wow. That appeared up in the strike zone, or up in the zone, and I wouldn't even say it was a strike.
Here is Mercedes. Melvin has scored 3 today, knocked in 1. Officially, he is 2 out of 3.
Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, it was there.
I think it got there.
From this angle, it looked high.
Melvin takes strike one on the inside corner. 12-9 Lancaster, bottom of the seventh. They really could use this run. Nothing in one. Rivera to Mercedes. That one bends in the dirt. It's blocked by Hill to keep Torrance from third. Mercedes is now batting .459. 7 extra base hits. 8 runs batted in. Rivera goes to work at 1 ball and 1 strike. Time is called. We're bordering on 3 hours here and just in the bottom of the 7th inning. Thank goodness for the off day tomorrow, but this stretch of games could have lasting ramifications for both clubs. 1-1, Mercedes skies a foul out of play. 1-2. That's the concern. You look at the injuries as they pile up. Gindel, Robinson, Dugan, Clark, and now Granite.
671, 5-1, 671. That's your ticket. Take it to the Vegas Service Center.
Yeah, it's.
Eric May could be starting Wednesday.
You have reached a new low.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that drops just a shade low on Mercedes, 2-2. I'll tell you what, I think one of these games this week, Pete Andrelzik is scheduled to sit in your seat. We got to hide him from Ross because Ross is going to say, suit up. I'm waiting for Ross to activate himself. And he hasn't pitched since anything but batting practice since the end of 14.
Yeah, I can imagine what his evening is going to be like. Just trying to.
He spends all day on the phone. 2-2, and Mercedes able to stay alive. He's on the phones all day. Troy Steffi's on the phone all day, trying to find some experienced arms that aren't held together with paper clips. Two and two to Melvin Mercedes. Torrance leading off second base. And to Melvin now, a swing and a miss. He'll have to be thrown out at first. Hill keeping a watchful eye all the way on what Torrance might be up to. Blake Galen to the plate. Pair of walks for him today, no base hits. He could use one now. Rivera's got nasty stuff.
Yeah, you can see it on that pitch. It just dropped.
He threw an inning last night and got the side in order. Now here is Galen. I think the starch is out of the Barnstormers now.
Yeah. Yeah, that long inning, when you're a position player and you're out in the field for that long, that takes a toll on you.
To Galen, a strike at his 0-1.
Boy, wouldn't this be a perfect time for home run number 100?
I would settle for single number 480 or whatever it would be. I'd have to do the math. Nothing in one to Galen. Torrance leads off second. The pitch is upstairs, off speed.
Let me throw something at you here. When Blake's days are done playing here in Lancaster, I don't know if they do something like this, but would they retire his number? Would they do something like that here?
You could consider it, but the jersey is, we just have the same set of numbers because we only recycle maybe 1 or 2 sets of jerseys every year.
Okay.
It would make it extraordinarily tough. Now, nobody, we didn't retire Butch's number. Granite's is in 17.
Yeah.
23, I can't see anybody else ever wearing.
Ross's number, right?
Blake Galen bats 2 balls and a strike. The pitch to him bounced foul. Trey Steffi even lets that go.
And I only say that because when his days are done, he's going to be, if not number 1, up in the top 2 or 3 of numerous categories.
Well, he already is. I
Yeah.
mean, he leads, I think, in everything but stolen bases and triples. Type of hitter he is in this ballpark, triples are hard to come by. 2-2, Rivera to the plate. Galen just gets a piece. Bottom of the 7th, it is 12-9. Every game in this series has exceeded 20 runs between the 2 ball clubs. The lowest scoring game the Barnstormers have played this season was Tuesday night in High Point. They were tripped up 4-3 by the Rockers on a 3-run, 1-hit bottom of the 8th inning that was set up by 4 walks. Here's a 2-2. Galen swings and misses at the breaking ball. Though Rivera, with a bunch of off-speed stuff, strikes out the side. The Barnstormers strand the leadoff walk at second base. We have gone to the 8th inning now. It's 12-9.
Four pitchers at position play.
Every day, customers ready for the workday by wearing a Central uniform.
The line score more or less tells the story. Whenever you see more runs than hits, you know that other factors are involved. And once again today, it is the base on balls. This game has had 14 of them. Junior Rincon came on and got Andrew Dundon to foul out to Anderson De La Rosa, closing out the 6-run York 7th inning, in which the Revs only managed 2 hits. Junior has to get the Barnstormers 3 outs here, and then do the Barnstormers try to go to Scott Schumann? Ordinarily, the answer would be of course, but one game rolls into another, This is a continuum, not individual games, and the fact that Schumann was needed for 2 innings last night, he could go out there today, but he's not going to be the Scott Schumann we usually see.
Right.
He'd have to labor his way to get 3 outs, I think. He's not used to going 2. He generally doesn't. He was brilliant for those 2 innings. He still was throwing every bit as hard the second inning he was in the first. Here's Darian Sanford taking a ball low.
And of course, with the day off tomorrow, you almost have to look at Tuesday as another day off for Schumann should he come in and pitch the 9th inning.
2-0 from Rincon to Sanford. The walks from the bullpen have absolutely been killers. We saw it the whole road trip. 1-0. Fastball in for a strike. It's 1-1. Rincon is, I don't think, as crisp as you ordinarily see him. And now 2-1 to Darian Sanford.
5 of the runs for York this afternoon via the walk.
Strike 2 to get to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rincon, coming into today, had already thrown 8 innings this season. And ball 4. Boy, oh boy.
Now you got to keep an eye on Sanford at first base.
Edwin Figueroa steps to the plate. He is 0 for 3 with a walk, but he has scored 2 runs and driven in 1. I just think the relievers you're sending out there, Granite's left hurt. You're watching Rincon. I think they're just gassed. There's been too much work. Donald Goodson, who's a youngster, he really hasn't pitched all that much. Has been used 7 times, throw to first base. Sanford would have been in trouble, but that throw almost got away from De La Rosa. Lancaster was sitting pretty, up 12-3 through 6 innings. But the Barnstormers had to lift Tommy Shirley, and it has been uncomfortable to say the least since then. Ball 1 to Figueroa, 1-0. On deck is the pitcher spot, and we see Josh Vitters out there. He'll be the first pinch hitter used. The pitchers have had to bat for themselves. 1-1. But now, with the game closer, they'll use Vitters. And he's got a bench, does Mark Mason. He's held it back. Throw to first, and again it almost got away. De La Rosa really had to extend for that one. Saved a wild pitch.
I'm not going to say the wheels have come off Lancaster's bus, but the lug nuts are loose. And I'm afraid that it's going to happen if here York is able to get a couple more base runners.
2-1. I've been trying to just track down this Barnstormers defensive alignment, and it is kind of a mess. There's ball 3. Rincon now can't throw strikes. The bug has bitten him. It's DeZamba that's out. Alemán has gone from short to right. I believe at one point maybe to left, but I don't think so. Short to right to third. There's another wild throw to first base. De La Rosa's had to save 3 now. Torrance is in left. The pitcher is batting in the 8th spot. Alemán is moved to third. Rendon at short. De La Rosa at first. Galen has moved back to right field. Mercedes and Deyasa have stayed in the same spot all game. Strike 2. Peroni, Mercedes, and Deyasa are the only 3 players in the field that have played the same position the entire game. Runner goes. The pitch is ball 4, and the tying runs around once again. $23.65, the announced crowd here on Sunday. Josh Vitters stepping in with runners at first and second. Nobody out in the top of the 8th inning.
At this pace, they're going to be here when the gates open up on Tuesday.
This is 9 walks now in the last inning plus out of the Barnstormers bullpen. First and second with nobody out. Sanford breaks for third. The pitch is a strike, and the runners pull off the double steal. Sanford goes to third, Figueroa to second. I'm not sure if that's a double steal or a stolen base in a pass ball, but I think a double steal because it really didn't get far away from Peroni. 0-1 to count on Vitters. And what do you do if you're Ross Peoples right now? Rincon delivers a breaking ball in the dirt. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Peroni's had a tough afternoon back there as well. especially in that 7th inning.
And De La Rosa feels for him because Anderson had to catch that entire affair on Friday night. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it is upstairs, 2-1. And Rincon is laboring. You could see it. The relievers the Barnstormers do have been used too much. 2 balls and a strike. And that is screamed out the left field. Sprinting back is Torrance. He'll be there for a very important first out. Coming home to score, though, is Sanford on the sacrifice fly. And it's now a 12-10 ball game with Nelly Rodriguez stepping in. Rodriguez hit the grand slam in the 7th inning.
Yeah, so you got to be very careful with him.
He is the tying run now with 1 out in the top half of the 8th inning. Breaking ball is outside for a 1-0 count on Rodriguez. Here's the grand slam on a full count pitch from Granite's out to the hillside in left field. His 2nd big home run for York in this series. The other one a 3-run shot the other night. Rincon able to challenge him. It's a swing and a miss. Left-handed batting Carlos Franco waits on deck. 2nd game in a row both teams have reached double figures. That spins outside, 2-1.
Yeah, it's not going to help the ERAs, that's for sure.
Rincon gets that one there. We go to 2-2.
You know, and when you have pitching that struggles like this puts more pressure on the offense, knowing that they're going to have to produce top to bottom.
This is a team game, and we could go into all the intricacies of that. 2-2 pitch, and Rincon doesn't get that one. 3-2. I guess that maybe was a little inside. Payoff pitch to Rodriguez. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. And it is high. The go-ahead run comes to the plate. Barnstormers pitchers have walked 10 in the last inning and a third. Franco is 0 for 3 with a walk. Gastonia coming in here on Tuesday, and they're in a similar boat. To Franco, it is low for a ball, 1-0. 3 walks and a sac fly this inning. 7 walks, a grand slam last inning. One 1-0 on Franco. Rincon fires a swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Peroni, and the tying runs will move into scoring position. He's had a tough day back there with this bullpen. We don't have a ruling on that as of yet. Thinking potentially the 3rd pass ball here. There were 2 in the last inning. Here comes the 1-1. Franco fouls it at the plate. Make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. A base hit now, and we're likely tied.
Oh, jeez.
Well, what do you do? And it was a pass ball. But what do you do if you're Ross? The last thing you can afford is another game going extra innings.
Oh.
He's got action. Does Ross Peoples down in the bullpen. Rincon deals, and it's chopped foul. Still 1-2 on Franco. But the last 2 York half innings have taken an eternity. Here's the pitch. It sails badly outside, 2-2. Rincon looks like he's forcing it up there. And I understand.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, 8 innings on the season. Coming into today, over 5 appearances. That's a lot of work. 2-2 on Franco. And the pitch is high for a full count. The on-deck batter is Wellington Dotel.
Yeah, just a little up.
Payoff to Franco is coming. Rincon misses again. 11 walks in an inning and a third. The bases are loaded for Dotel. And that is Yoel Espinal, last night's winning pitcher, warming up in the bullpen.
Wow.
Right fielder,
Jeez.
Dotel will come to the plate. This game has unraveled. Ross Peoples is coming out. And I think he's got to make the move here. Rincon trying to give it everything he has.
And is he going to make the move, or is this a delay to give
Yeah, it could be a
Espinal more
delay.
time?
He has won this time out in reserve without having to make the change. 1 out, the bases are again loaded for York. The charity walkathon continues. Barnstormers pitching is now allowed, I've got to do the math quickly, 35 walks in this series. It's painful. Bases loaded, 1 out. Dotel steps in. He's 1 for 4. He singled in the 6-run 7th inning. Rincon's pitch is delivered low. It is ball 1. It's as if the strike zone has utterly disappeared
Exactly.
on the Barnstormers pitching staff. It's like there isn't one. 1 ball and no strikes on Dotel. Rashad Crawford is due next. And I'd almost be inclined to let Galen come in and face Crawford at this point.
Yeah.
1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. 12-10 here in the top of the 8th inning. In the slowest, most torturous way imaginable. One ball, 1 strike. Rincon delivers, and it's inside, 2-1. Close.
Yeah.
Here's a 2-1 now, driven to center field. Sprinting back on this is Deyasa. He'll make the catch. Tagging and coming home to score is Figuera, and it's now 12-11. 4 walks, 2 loud sac flies in the inning. It's a 1-run game, and Rashad Crawford is scheduled. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Nice play by Deyasa, who was a little bit up there on Dotel. He had to retreat on that in a hurry.
Seemed possible the way this game was up until the 6th inning, 7th inning.
Ball is low on Crawford. Hill's on deck. These last 2 innings, York has scored 8 runs on 2 hits. And a lot of donations. Ball 2 is low. There have been 3 pass balls that ultimately have meant nothing.
Except advancing runners. But
Yeah, but
they would have
the walks filled in anyway.
Right.
High fly ball left field. Torrance is back, and amazingly, to some extent, the Barnstormers still have the lead. 2 runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left. Bottom of the 8th coming up in what is now a 12-11 game.
Barnstormers batting in the bottom of the 8th inning in what is now a 1-run ball game. We're back on the air Tuesday night. Open up a 3-game set against Gastonia. All 3 will be night games. First pitch 6:30 on each of the respective games. So we'll be back on the air Tuesday night with more Barnstormer baseball on Blue Ridge 11.
Brandon Fry becomes the 6th pitcher for Mark Mason here today. Paredes worked the 6th inning. He was the other lefty. It'll be De La Rosa, Rendon, and Alemond in a stretch that started Clark, Dugan, and Alemond. And they hit the 3 straight home runs for the Barnstormers back in the 1st inning when things looked a lot rosier.
You know, and talking earlier, I think in between commercial breaks, York still has Fry on the mound, and they've got Fuller, right?
Yeah.
2 guys that, I mean, it's setting up perfectly now for Mark Mason if York can somehow gain the lead. Whereas now Lancaster's staff is absolutely depleted with no options.
But York has 13 pitchers on the staff. The Barnstormers legitimately have 10 because Jared Lakin is shut down. And you don't want to risk an injury to Lakin. I don't care how the Barnstormers season is going. Jared Lakin is on the Israeli Olympic team, and you don't want to have him risk that trip to Japan in the Summer Olympics.
Right.
You just don't want to take that gamble. So Lakin has not been available since he came out in the 3rd inning in Game 2 of the season. The Barnstormers have Chatora, DeSabatino, Espinal, Goodson, Granitz. That's 5. Lang is 6. Rincon is 7. Shirley is 8. Schumann is 9. Taggart is 10. But as I've said, some of those guys have been used as starters, and they haven't been able to go 5 innings. And that further uses up an already short bullpen. Lancaster has a left-hander warming up out there, and that would be either Galen or Gindel to close out the game. Here's Anderson De La Rosa. He is batting for the first time and takes a ball outside from Fry. It is 1-0. 12-11. And we're living a nightmare. In for a called strike. De La Rosa batting 1-1. Hill, Dundon, and Sanford are the scheduled batters in the top of the 9th inning.
I think that's Gindel warming up in the pen.
Tap foul. De La Rosa is batting at 1 ball and 2 strikes. A couple hits for him last night. He is 3 out of 10 on the season.
I stand corrected. It's Galen.
It is Galen. I thought that was, couldn't see the number. I thought that was Galen's more sidearm angle. To De La Rosa, 1-2 in the dirt, skipping away from Hill. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. But this is just to the point now where it's beyond absurd.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. Two balls, 2 strikes to De La Rosa. It's a ground ball to the shortstop. Easy play for Figuera. And it's 1 out here in the 8th inning. The last Barnstormer hit was the triple by Mercedes in the 5th inning that you would have thought would have completely iced the game.
Yeah.
That was routine for Figuera. And here is Cleo Rendon. It's not just all the walks, and you just worry about the wear and tear on this pitching staff. That's part of it today. But the injuries, nobody on either side, this isn't just a Barnstormer issue, nobody on either side needed another game that ultimately will close in on the 4-hour mark, especially if York ties the game or goes ahead in the top of the 9th. Rendon bats 1-0. It's outside 2-0.
Yeah, and of course we won't know until later today or tomorrow about the status of Clark, Dugan, Granitz. But boy, if those guys are going to miss time.
2-0 to Rendon. Fry to the plate, and ball 3 is wide. 3 balls and no strikes. But right now, give or take a minute or two, we're at 3.5 hours for today's game, which is right around the Barnstormers' average for the year. But we've got the rest of this half inning to go in the top of the 9th at least. Rendon thought he had ball 4. Not the case. It is strike 1. The Barnstormers hit 3 home runs in the 1st inning, back to back to back. Mercedes added a triple in the 5th inning. To Rendon, here's the 3-1, and that angles in at the knees for strike 2. Alemond is on deck. Now, the York fans will love this one if they pull it out, just as the Barnstormers fans did last night. But it goes beyond the issue right now of winning or losing ball games. Rendon grounds it to third. They had him played perfectly. And the peg across the diamond from Franco is in time. 2 outs, bringing on Blake Alemond.
Yep, guarding the line late. Just what York was looking to do.
I don't understand that. They're not leading by 1, they're trailing by 1, but it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And Franco will be there again against Alemond. It must have something to do with Brandon Fry and the way he pitches. Running the maybe cutter in on the hands of a right-handed hitter. And a ground ball pulled to the left side. Figuera will dig this one up and throw high. Alemond safe at first base. York's defense has been less than stellar this weekend.
That's the 4th error in the ball game today.
It brings on Anthony Peroni, who's 0 for 2 with 2 walks. As I said, this goes beyond who wins or loses games this early in the season. This is troubling in a much deeper way. The Atlanta, they gave that a base hit, so Alemond is on. Peroni steps in and fouls one back toward us. No balls and a strike. Trayvon Robinson is out on deck in the pitcher spot. But my point is this, Eric, is that this is not what we're accustomed to in Atlantic League Baseball. And we're all trying to figure out why. It's the shortage of available players. And nobody quite understands it. Everybody thought there were going to be more players, as that is stung in the right field. Peroni is on, and Robinson will get a chance with men at first and second.
Yeah, especially with some of these minor league teams being...
With the minor leagues shrinking.
Yes.
Everybody thought there would be a wealth of players available. But I believe when so many of these guys were released in, I think it was the 1st of June last year, when it was clear that minor league baseball would be shut down for the season, they all went into other avenues. And that's why we're hoping the Brooks Hall story resonates throughout this game of baseball. That is the story that needs to get out there, is the Brooks Hall story. Going from an investment firm to the Milwaukee Brewers organization through one Atlantic League start. And perhaps spur some rejuvenated hopes and dreams for other guys out there. Now, everybody believed there would be a wealth of players available for the 2021 season, and it's turned out to be the opposite. The affiliated minor league clubs found themselves short, and they've taken all kinds of players out of the Atlantic League. Robinson with a pop-up foul and out of play. And
because what was it, 40? Was it 40 minor league teams that?
Yeah. Well, they went down to 120 from, I think it was 162.
Okay.
Now, the rookie level teams in the camps are still there. The Gulf Coast League and the Arizona League still exist, but the Appalachian League is gone. Robinson lifts this out to right field toward the line. Dotel has room. It holds up long enough for him to make the catch. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. It's been all about throwing strikes. Now we go to the top half of the 9th inning, and the Barnstormers need to ask Blake Galen to close it out in a 12-11 game. Another long one here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The York Revolution and the Lancaster Barnstormers teamed up to produce 7 hours and 58 minutes of baseball the first 2 games of this series. And we're looking at closing in on 4 hours today. It depends on Blake Galen now, the Barnstormers' all-time home run leader, all-time hits leader, all-time runs, doubles, and many other categories, now trying to record a save on a sultry summer afternoon.
I got a text from Chad, too. Blake Galen, Chad Lander's favorite player.
Trayvon Robinson is moving out to right field. He's going to give it a go out there, with Galen taking the hill.
You know, and I hate to sound cliche-ish, but they always say it's that first guy, that first batter, you got to get him out. That doesn't resonate 100 times more than what he needs right here.
We talk about the continuum of baseball games. I'll bring it up again. Because of the situation, the Barnstormers were in a tight game last night. And Ross felt he had nowhere else to go but to use Scott Schumann for 2 innings. And to be perfectly honest with you, that got the Barnstormers the win last night. It was not wasted. Schumann was golden for those 2 innings. But Scott Schumann is a guy, you can't throw him 2 innings one night and expect him to come back out the next day.
Yeah.
2 innings in 2 days, kind of the limit. And with that, Galen is the last guy standing out in the bullpen. He's got to hold down the fort here.
Now, if he has a 2-inning outing and he throws 12 pitches, that's maybe a little bit different story.
But it was 24. It's not a long outing. First pitch is in for a strike on Hill. It is 0-1, and that immediately brings a roar from the crowd that is left here. If the Barnstormers bullpen has walked 11 the last 2 innings. Galen misses high and wide. It's a ball. But you have to keep in mind, this is Blake Galen's, in a sense, 3rd appearance on the mound this weekend because he came in twice in relief on Friday. Separate times in the game and then moved back out to right field or first base. In on the hands, popped up, it gets to the screen. Galen has Hill at 1-2. Blake picked up a win in AAA for Oklahoma City 2 years ago. And earlier in his career, he was fully a two-way player, so it's not foreign territory. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Tyler Hill. Galen ready to go, the pitch. It's 2-2.
Thought maybe there was a short circuit in that. That was low.
It was low. We just keep wanting strikes. We're begging, we're pleading. Galen with the 2-2, beaten foul, and the count will continue. Lang walked 5, Granite's walked 2, Rincon walked 4 in the last 2 innings. Rincon technically gets a hold. It was 12-9 when he came in. He got Dundon with the foul out. Didn't give up the lead. Swing and a miss. Galen has 1. He has 1. Andrew Dundon will be the hitter.
Well, and here's the other thing. These guys from York have been facing pitching that's probably in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying that Blake can't hit the 80s, but now his balls are coming in a lot slower.
Dundon pummels a foul. It is 0-1. But most importantly, Blake Galen, at least so far, we don't want to jinx it, but at least so far, is putting the ball in the strike zone. Against a very tired York club. 0-1. Galen to the plate, fouled straight back, 0-2. Darian Sanford is on deck. My. Dundon bats 0-2. Blake Galen has retired 1 here in the top of the 9th. The pitch is upstairs. Changed the eye level with that one. Ball 1 and 2 strikes. Galen comes back. Strike 3 on the outside corner. He has 2. He needs 1 more. An out of any kind.
Great spot. Great spot.
We've been looking for home run number 100. Save number 1 might be more important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Darian Sanford opened the game. The very first pitch, he hit his first pro home run on to the picnic deck. Galen deals and he's high to Sanford. It's 1-0. But imagine this, the game starting with Darian Sanford's first career home run. It could end with Blake Galen's first career save.
Chalk that up to that bizarre.
Or at least first in a very long time. Ball 2 is off the inside corner.
I mean, I remember seeing Blake pitch before, but I don't recall it being in a save situation.
2 balls and nothing. I'd have to look back to his days in the South Coast League. A strike taken by Sanford. It's 2-1. Oh, we've had a lot of stories and a lot to talk about this year, but it just has not been pretty and it has not been normal. Strike two. Gets the outside corner. He needs one more strike.
Imagine if he snaps off a curveball right here.
Sanford batting at 2 balls and 2 strikes against Blake Galen. And the pitch, it's low, 3-2. You certainly don't want to walk Sanford here.
No.
12-11 with 2 outs and nobody on in the top of the 9th inning. Blake Galen against Darian Sanford, 2 guys who legitimately belong in a future Barnstormers Hall of Fame. The payoff is a walk. And that is the 12th from the bullpen. Figuera will come to the plate. Galen's 3-2. And strike on a taller guy. Oh my, you know Sanford's going to be off to the races here.
Absolutely.
He has 8 on the year.
Put it this way, I'll be surprised if he doesn't run.
Pick off! He got him! He got Sanford! Blake Galen, save number 1! Oh my! Is this unbelievable or what?
Well, Sanford is pleading that he balked.
The Barnstormers celebrate, and as I said, the day started off with the first career home run for Darian Sanford, and it ends with the first career save of Blake Galen. Bizarro world it is in the Atlantic League here in 2021. We've got more of this coming up on Tuesday night here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The Gastonia Honey Hunters coming in, and maybe between now and then things will settle down and we'll have some normal baseball. For now, it's exhausting, it's entertaining, and the Barnstormers, with a narrow 1-run victory this afternoon, remain in first place in the Northern Division. Now for Eric May and all the cast and crew in the truck and here at Clipper Magazine Stadium, I'm Dave Collins. Have a great couple of days, everybody. We'll talk to you Tuesday night and see you at the ballpark.